787.
787 departure frequency 15 will be 1257.
257, thanks.
Yo, welcome back to the SciFi And Friends podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We already recorded earlier today at about 12:30, Alex Hill and I, for about 2.5 hours, and I forgot to mention that all the music in this episode of the podcast is made, developed, designed, created, all by Alex Hill himself. So the music that you're about to hear is a full track, his brand new track called Toucan. He says it's not quite done. I think it sounds pretty damn good. Give it a listen. Give him a like. He's on Instagram. He's on SoundCloud as Aphid, A-P-H-I-D. Check him out. Give him some love. Enjoy the track Toucan. Enjoy the podcast. Peace. Scalpel. Can you hand me the scalpel? Just kidding. Welcome back. Tuesday's episode with Alex Hill today. First, a few quick updates. Doing some camping prep. Looking over tents, food. I'm going to go on a all dehydrated food trip this time. Just to try it out, see if it's possible. I think it is, but, I'll learn some stuff when I'm out there eating dried fruit and jerky for 2 days. We'll see how it works out, but it's all preparation for bigger and better things, such as elk hunting in Colorado someday. That's my dream. The Bass Pro Hunting Classic is this weekend, so actually, I was going to say it's only in Springfield, but I think it's everywhere. So if you have if you're listening to this in Memphis, go down to the Great Temple of Bass Pro, the big giant silver pyramid. In Springfield, you got the main headquarters, but I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to have lots of good sales and lots of good speakers and seminars that you can listen to on hunting and gear and equipment and, hiking and all that kind of good stuff. So go check it out. I will be there in Springfield, so if you're there, say hello and give me a high five. Also, UFC 202. I mean, none of this is affiliated with this podcast. So I'm just kind of updating people on what I'm going to be doing soon. So, and then maybe you don't have any plans for this weekend. Well, let's go to Bass Pro and listen to some good seminars, and then let's go watch UFC.
We did that at the gym just a couple days ago.
We did. We had a couple TVs going. We had Nickelodeon, and then Honey Channel, and UFC. Yeah, it was cool. I just want to create as much testosterone as possible. So images of flashing, that would get our evolutionary genes to like fire up.
Just kick it on.
Yeah.
Get that beard growing.
Yeah, we just need one more with like supermodels, and then one more TV with supermodels, and then
I would work out so hard.
I know.
It's awful.
I know I'm getting off track already, but I've always wanted to start a gym that has an abundance of plants for oxygen, like pure oxygen.
Yeah.
Like, how the myth of casinos, they pump in oxygen so you don't. It's a myth.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, God. Okay.
I work at one. I haven't heard that, yeah.
So supposedly, so in a casino, there are no clocks, right? There are no windows. So unless you're kind of by a door, like an entrance, there's no way to tell what time it is. Yeah. It's the same time. It's eternity, right? Well, there's also a myth, and we can look it up to see if it is a myth, but there's also this myth or saying that the casinos pump in oxygen to keep you awake longer, so you could gamble longer and whatnot. Okay. So you don't pay attention. You're not getting tired.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I had a lady when I was in Valley. She told me that's why they kept it so cold. She said that they said it was to keep the machines functioning, but she thought it was to keep people awake, keep them from getting warm and tired and going to the rooms.
That makes sense. The first part, keeping the machines cold.
Yeah.
I mean, the computer I built in the other room, man, that thing runs so hot. The laptops run hot. So imagine, a slot machine that's
hundreds of them,
7 foot tall. Yeah, and hundreds of, and they're all next to each other. Yeah, that's going to create some heat.
Yeah, for sure.
I never thought about that. Anyway, so yeah, I would pump in oxygen or just have pure oxygen, like plants, like what you'd put on a space station.
Oh, yeah.
And then pay girls to just
water. Maybe we were going in different directions with that. I don't.
Yes. No, I was gonna like pay super hot girls just to kind of walk around and work out, but just so that the gentleman there would get like a boost.
Yeah,
because you've never worked out harder unless you're thinking of an ex that you hate and want to get back at, or there's a really hot chick that is in the gym as well, and you're like,
and the one we go to. Or the one I accompany you to, because I don't technically have a membership.
Oh, allegedly.
There's no cameras, no one knows. But there's not very many females. It's mostly old, sweaty dudes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens when you go work out at midnight.
That is true.
Till like 3 a.m.
That is fair.
Anyway, UFC 202, if you're not doing anything this weekend, tune in. It's Diaz and McGregor, round 2. Should be an awesome fight. One of the biggest besides 200 with Brock Lesnar. But also, school starts next week, so if you're getting ready for that, prepare. Good luck to everyone. Should be a great, great semester. MSSU, Pitt, KU, USC. I don't care where you're going. Just let's kick some ass. Can we put US back on the map? Woo, I'm tired of Sweden and Finland getting all the good stuff. Korea.
Bastards.
Yeah, God. Anyway, all right. You've already heard him talk. He's already made a couple jokes.
Hello.
My guest today, PreMed student, looking to go to be a physician. He's a musician, physician, philosopher minor, but he's a majorly huge philosopher, 6'7", master of music. Please welcome today on the SciFi And Friends podcast, Alex Hill.
Hello, I'd like to preface by saying that most of those things were true. One of them was a little bit inaccurate, but I won't say which one.
Okay, so good luck to you too. We need some fan theories on Alex Hill.
Yeah.
Like, where'd he come from? Where's it going? He's got
like kind of spooky. Or like,
if I had a sound effect to play the spookiness, I would.
I got nothing.
we were messing around with sound effects earlier. Kind of trippy.
It was bad. Can we do a sample for them? Or
I
like,
wish.
Does that work? It doesn't work like that?
I'm really afraid to touch anything, but
yeah, that's fair.
Let me try. Here we go, because the worst thing is we just start over. But so you're about to hear Alex in his native voice.
Hello?
Oh, it cut you off. Okay, that didn't work.
We're back. Did not work. There was a lapse in time there that you guys won't hear.
Yeah,
But,
there's a slight rip in the space-time continuum.
did not work.
Anyway, so Alex, you're a pre-med student and a musician. You have a philosophy minor, which I didn't know about till just the other day.
Yeah, Facebook.
Why?
Just because, I mean, it's just kind of who I am. I mean, same reason anybody I feel like picks anything in college, you know. Well, not the musician part. I wish I could be a music major, but I'd like to make money. So
Yeah, right.
But yeah, with the pre-med thing, it was more of I always liked science, and so just naturally, that's just kind of what came next. I didn't want to research or anything. I didn't like what you're wanting to do, like in the more practical aspects, more like marketable aspects, I should say.
Yeah.
But and a lot of my friends were pre-med. That's something you notice as a freshman is everybody's a pre-med.
Yeah.
It starts out, everyone's like, I'm gonna be a doctor. Yeah, let's do it. And then like 3 classes later, it's where'd everyone go?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot more accounting majors all of a sudden.
Oh no, we like to say the physical health majors.
Physical health?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know any of those. Is that?
I mean, usually that's where they drop to.
Really?
Because it's still kind of like you're doing medical things. Like you're going to be like doing rehab and stuff. No offense to these guys. No offense to these guys. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody wants to go to school for 7, 8, 9 years. I don't, but
you're going to.
Yeah, might as well, right? Nothing else to do for the next
Swing
8
for
years.
the fence. So you're going to do like practical application with medical, like you're going to be like an ER doc, or are you going to have a specialization?
Yeah, I think ER would be my specialization. I always get asked, like, people say, what kind of doctor do you want to be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things that you get 3 years into medical school and you start switching throughout different departments. And then once you've kind of been in those departments, you figure out what you like, you know.
Okay.
It's, I mean, but yeah, if people ask, I always just say emergency medicine.
Yeah.
They're very lucky in that, I mean, it's intense and it's crazy and you never know what's going to come through the door, but you go to work and then you get off and you go home. You're never on call.
Oh, right.
And
You don't want to do that.
No, that's a huge factor for me because I want to, you know, have a family and keep making music and whatnot.
Right.
And doctors don't have the most time in the world.
Or the energy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get blitzed.
Exactly.
12-hour shift, 14-hour shifts, or I don't know, 24, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
So,
definitely.
I mean, that could really get you. But that's a good place to start.
Well, you would know. Your father was an ER doctor, right?
Absolutely. I've heard a lot of stories from the ER.
Yeah. I haven't met him yet. I still want to talk to him.
Oh, dude, he was just here earlier. He dropped off the jerky gun.
Oh, nice. The jerky gun.
The jerky gun.
Learned
You all
about
know what a
that.
jerky gun is.
I didn't.
Now, his story's kind of interesting. He, like, back in the day, he just turned 60 this year. Yeah, this year. He didn't take the ACT, didn't take the SAT, none of that kind of stuff. He kind of snuck into medical school.
Spooky.
Yeah, he was just kind of like there, and they're like, hey, are you here for this? And he's like, yep. And they're like, okay, come on. Yeah, I mean, that's a condensed story, and if I ever have him on the podcast, I'll get him to tell the story, but it's pretty fascinating.
How long ago was that? Which, I mean, he's like 60, so he would have been 20-ish, I imagine.
I think he went to around 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he took 10 years off between, because, I mean, truly he wanted to be a farmer. Like, that's his true passion. Like you want to truly be a musician of some sorts, you know. His true passion is a farmer, and that's what he always wanted to be and everything. So as far as my 26-year-old self understands it, he used the medical application to fund his farming things.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long road, but it funded everything, and now he's got more land and more tools and everything. I mean, for a while he was strapped down and unhappy and had to, you know, it kind of paid his dues in a way.
Yeah.
But, you know, now that he's retired and everything, that's all he gets to do. And
farm, right?
Farm and hunt and fish and all that kind of stuff. So
That's cool.
yeah, so he finally gets to it. It's a little longer route, but like he owns everything, and now he has the time. And
Yeah, I hate talking about like the financial, like people like whenever I mention that I want to be a physician, it's always, oh, you're going to make a lot of money, man.
yeah, right.
And I could give a shit less, but
Yeah.
it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, especially like music is expensive. Music stuff is expensive.
Right.
Instruments, software, it's all very expensive, and having time expensive too. Yeah. But having the financial ability to pay for it all would be great. You know? But I mean, there are much easier ways to make more money as well.
Than going to school for 9 years
Yeah.
and learning every aspect of the human body,
Yes.
and, you know, losing hours and hours and hours of sleep and massive amounts of stress, you know.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
You're like talking me out of it right
Oh
now.
no,
as
no.
we speak.
It should psych you up, dude.
Right.
You gotta go. All Spartan and be like,
Right.
bring it on.
Well, I always get jealous of like the. We always make fun of the business majors in the biology department.
Fuck the business. Sorry, guys.
Assholes. Nothing personal. Very personal. I remember the casino a while back. I was listening to some guy talk about some business deal he had done.
Yeah.
He was bragging about it to his friends. He's like, "Yeah, man, I only had to work for like 5 days and made $250,000. Just had to hang out at the hotel."
Yeah.
I was like, "Shit."
Yeah.
He was pretty stoked about it. I was
I
stoked
would
for
be
him.
stoked.
Yeah.
But there's something about you and me, and I'm thinking of like Trevor. I'm thinking about all of our buddies. Like our group. There's something about us that sort of thing doesn't pull us as much, or we don't give into it as much because that's kind of not where we're operating from.
Yeah.
Like you just said, I don't give a shit how much money I'm going to be. Well, you do in a way, but at the same time, that's not your focal point.
Yeah.
I
I don't think we'd be satisfied just working for a business like that.
No. There's some sort of difference factor where you want to make a difference, or that's the reason when I came back from California and kind of, grew up a little bit and understood, okay, this world operates a little differently than I thought. And I'm going to study science. It was more of a, how can I help the human race? Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just pipettes into some RNA, DNA, I don't even know. But if that's helping the human race that much more, and I can still do, have a family and do my passions of filmmaking and traveling, I think I could deal with that.
Well, it's important and it's useful in a almost altruistic way. I was watching an interview yesterday with Syrian. I think he was a surgeon, and I don't know where in Syria, but he was just talking about his experiences in the hospital helping people. Hospitals by the Geneva Convention are like neutral zones. You're not supposed to mess with them. And he was just talking about all the people that were coming through and everything that was going on. It was crazy, but you could tell he wanted to help. He could have gone somewhere where he wasn't being bombed constantly.
Yeah.
And like burning kids weren't coming through his door, but it was his home and it's where he wanted to be.
Right.
And I mean, he didn't say anything about his finances, but I know that wasn't why he was there.
No, because if he's that good, he could easily come to the U.S. or New Zealand or, all these other places that are developed and have, really good economies that could support someone like him,
He had great, he might have been American. I don't know. He had
Sure.
a foreign name, but he spoke great English. But
Yeah.
the way he talked about that hospital in Syria, it sounded like it was his home. It's where he belonged,
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's where he belonged. And he probably knew that too. Yeah. He's probably an enlightened individual to go, yeah. This is where I'm needed,
Yeah.
I could be treating old folk in Kansas. With no offense, guys.
Yeah, we love old people.
Absolutely. But, someone's got to help those drone strikes and the rebels and all that kind of stuff.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. We talked about it all day yesterday, and Juice's perspective on that on the Middle East was really enlightening, because he's actually been there.
Yeah.
But God, that place is crazy. You got all sorts of shit going on. You got China. China's doing pretty good. Very industrious country. They have a space program. That's where I label developed, enlightened country. You got a space program? Is it good? Yeah. Okay, you can join the club. Because
it's like it's extra. It's not something that directly, as of now anyway, helps us. It's more like just exploration.
Yeah, right. But it would. It's like an investment. Like
future investment.
Yeah, invest in this, and then besides DARPA and the military, I think space would be the next technologically advanced. We developed this for the space station and it works really well, but I think there's great application to use on Earth, something like GPS.
Yeah.
Well, they loved using GPS before, we ever had it in our pocket, and they're like, let's just give it to everybody. And then, and then it's awesome.
Yeah, it worked. I wouldn't know where I was if I didn't have GPS.
God have mercy.
It's sad.
Maps and all that kind of stuff.
I have a map in my car, and I don't know why.
Like a US map, or
like a local one.
Kansas.
Yeah, like we live on the 4 state areas, so it's just kind of that area around, and I don't even know why I have it.
What would be so cool? Yeah. Make a scavenger hunt, take away the phones, and just do things the old way. 20 years ago.
What are we looking for though?
Something that's old,
like a body. You have to find it.
Yeah. No, he was playing Pokemon Go, and then he died. Go find him.
It'd be funnier if it wasn't true.
Yeah.
People are dying from Pokemon Go.
Yeah, we knew this was going to happen, though.
Yeah. Everything kills everybody at some point.
Yeah. I don't like to say but it's the weeding out of particular genes. It's, I mean, we were biologists. We know this.
Survival of the fittest.
Yes, there's gonna be technology that comes down the road, and that Homo sapiens just aren't gonna know what to do with. And there's been technology that's come out that Homo sapiens don't know how to do with.
Pokemon Go.
But that's the latest one. I'm thinking the car. How many freaking car accidents kill people every year?
Yeah.
And that's because most of the time, operation. Oh, seatbelts.
Seatbelts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. One small, tiny little 1 second. You're
all you
good.
need.
That was the worst seatbelt.
That was
sound
very
effect.
intimate sound for a seatbelt.
But you know what I mean. And then once the sorts of Teslas and AI driven things, you're going to see, hopefully, we're predicting you're going to see far, far less wrecks and accidents and whatnot, because most of the time it's pilot operated error. So you're going to go physician. Do you have a school picked out?
Hoping for KU.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good school. It's close. And as of right now, it's where my son is kind of headed. Him and his mom are moving up there so she can start working.
What's she do?
She's in cosmetology school.
Okay.
So she'll be working at a salon up there. And she's got some friends up there and stuff,
Is that why? She wants to go there? Just friends or?
I don't really know.
Oh, okay. I like Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good town.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's a good town. And, I like college towns because they kind of almost reflect their population. Like they stay hip.
Yeah.
They stay they're just energized in a certain way.
You can feel it in the air.
You can. When we went down to Norman, it was like suddenly you went through like a force field. Like, whoa, I'm OU charged, or anywhere, USC was kind of like that, I guess.
Do you still feel that in Pitt, like when you go up to...
In a way, yeah.
It's there.
It's definitely there, certain parts more than others, like Heckert Wells, that's charged. I like Heckert Wells, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the campus or like the whole town in general? Or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Pitt is not as charged, the whole town in general, just because it's an older town, but young. Pittsburg, Kansas would have been dead years ago without that university.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because of the students coming in and all the tuition that they're rolling in, and oh, hey Alex, you get $2,000. You get a $2,000 grant. You're 18.
Yeah. Oh,
Go
yeah. I remember the first time I had $2,000 back from scholarships. And stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What? And
I felt like a rapper, dude. It's crazy.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, dude, my best friend Wes Heffley and we had a kickback, and literally every day we would get a USA Today. We'd scan our little PSU badges, get a USA Today. After class, around 1 or 2, we'd meet up at Subway. We'd get a Subway sandwich, and like old men, we would read our newspapers and eat our Subway sandwich.
Delicious.
So that's where our tuition went.
Oh, great.
And alcohol.
Yeah. Details.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Pit liquor.
Yeah.
They allegedly do not card you. Especially if you have a beard.
Yeah, right.
And you pay in cash.
We are both well-bearded men right now. I don't know if you can tell that in our voices.
You better. Everyone listening to this probably is growing a beard just from hearing the testosterone coming through the speakers of your car or your headphones.
What was I going to say? Something about Pitt.
In Pitt.
In Lord of the Rings, when I was a small child in Lord of the Rings.
Back when I was a hobbit.
No, it's like... I remember the first time I went up to Pitt, to party and hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
The first time I went was amazing.
Yeah.
It was like, I got up there and, you know how it goes. We both work super late 'cause we work at, the casino. Mm-hmm. And so I got up there at 12 o'clock at night, and there's literally hundreds of kids just walking around.
Yeah.
Have you seen something like that before? It's crazy.
Like a whole block of just strung out people.
It's ridiculous.
Coolers rolling around and stumbling.
The police are they're just watching. They're driving by and they're like, these damn kids.
Yeah.
Get off the road.
Yeah. they never really shut down parties. They just kind of calm them down, I guess, you know?
Especially in the frats and stuff. I feel like they kind of have to do their thing.
Yeah, you don't really mess. I mean, that's just kind of what they're there for.
Yeah. It's like,
Is that what they're there for?
Is it? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what else the frats do.
I mean, they just beat each other in KKK robes and then go to class, or I don't know.
I've never been in a frat house.
I was going to say, have you ever even thought about doing Greek life?
No.
Yeah, it was never appealing to me.
It's not really my thing.
I watched Animal House and was like, that's enough.
That was good enough.
I never found it attractive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I didn't really get the typical college experience.
Nor did I.
Yeah, because we both live 30 minutes away. You know, you're grown, and I have like a kid and a job and stuff, so it's like I don't go out. And just biology, you know, we spend all of our free time studying.
Yeah,
So
basically.
I never like lived in the dorms or anything. Although I kind of wish I had. I spent some time in the dorms when I had friends who lived there. I kind of wish I had. Although most of them said they wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I know. I did the same thing. You know, I stayed there a week in my friend's dorm once. Like we moved out of the apartment that I was living in that was literally on campus, and it was 1 week of finals. And I moved out. And I was like, "Can I just stay in your dorm? Because I don't want to drive 40 minutes away."
Was this at Pitt?
This is a Pitt.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this is a Pitt. It was the apartments that are right across from that parking lot, right behind the Catholic thingy. Not Heckert Wells.
Grubbs?
Grubbs.
It's by Grubbs.
It's by Grubbs. It's over by the corner of Grubbs. Yeah. Anyway, that's where I was living.
Oh, okay.
Lots of good times there.
Cool.
But I stayed in the dorms for a week, and I have the same feeling. I wish I kind of would have done a year. Like, I wish it would have been a little more, and I don't. I wish and I don't. A little more authoritative on, like, mentors and parents' parts. So, like, you need to do this, this, this.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, you know, and that might have been my bad of being just, like, rebellious. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
It's college. You know,
Yeah, it's college. But, yeah, I do kind of desire that now, a little bit of the traditional type college role. Like, I wish I could have got into some clubs.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in chess club, you know, I wanted to be in movie club or whatever, or start a club, and just been able to live that kind of lifestyle to where, hey, after class, do you want to go get something to eat and then work out and then go back to the dorm and, you know, hang out? But, I mean, I just didn't choose that, so.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time up there because I do, like, most of my off days I do spend mostly studying, you know. But there is the social aspect. I'll be studying for a bit, and then I'll go work out with a friend, you know.
Yeah.
And then we'll hang out at his place for a while. Then I'll go back to the library or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And just kill time. But it's still different. You know? It's not. I guess maybe it's just because I'm not like living on my own. Like I was just thrown into a city, and it's like.
Yeah.
You should probably go to class, and you probably shouldn't get too drunk, and you probably shouldn't, but you might. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's up to you.
Yeah. No,
you
I
get total freedom.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I don't know. I just haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I will eventually. It'll just be different.
Right, because you're going to be differently developed and you know have different experiences and whatnot. I mean, you have one of the craziest experiences ever. You have a son.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get that figured out, man.
Write a book.
Yeah. Right.
Wait, hey, did you have the moment that that fathers talk about, that when your child is born, did you have like that explosion of euphoria?
No. He looked so weird. I was like, we got to stick this dude back in. He's not done.
He's not cooked.
I was trying to put him back. The doctor was like, you need to stop. I was like,
I'm
not
a
done.
PreMed student.
I know what I'm doing.
This is chapter 4, giving birth.
Embryology. Trust me, it's fine. No, well, he was 2 months early too, so he really wasn't done.
Fair enough.
But no, man, he popped out looking like a little bloody monkey, and I was like, damn.
Funny enough, it's very accurate description.
But there are moments that hit you where it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a person.
Yeah.
And it's half me, and I love it more than anything. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird. I still remember he was... Oh, he's probably 5 months old, and I was sitting with him at his mom's house. And when they're first born, especially that young, because he was 2 months early, I mean, they're just kind of like reacting, you know? They like sit there and they wiggle, and they look at stuff. Their eyesight's not the best, you know? But I still remember having him on my lap, and I remember he's like just kind of staring at me, like looking at my face, you know, like right there, he's just looking at my face. And after like 10 seconds, like his eyes just light up and he smiles. Oh. And it was the first time he like recognized me, I think.
Right.
And that's like after, you know, all the crying and the poop and the screaming and the sleepless nights, it's like you get those little moments just to make it so worth it.
Right.
And so just like, euphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not when they're first born. I think the moms get that attachment when it first pops out, but the dads are kind of like, ugh.
I mean, I've heard, like Joe Rogan's talked about it, and like a couple other people. As soon as that child, like the crown breaks and he or she flies out, it's like this overwhelming just surge of like, whoa, that's your son or daughter, like that's your offspring.
Well, I did have that like, this is my person,
right?
This is my responsibility and my child.
And then your brain's just like, dump the oxytocin. Oh God, you have like a deep connection.
Yeah. So, that's natural. That's just like I'd say that I'm closer to him than anyone else on the planet easily.
Right.
You know?
genetically and then like spiritually as
Yeah,
well. Right?
absolutely. Yeah. There's like it's you always hear people say that they'd like die for somebody, or, but it's weird having that person that you really would do anything for them.
Right.
You'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
Someday.
I try to project myself there, but I just
impossible.
I just know I can't. I kind of like, well, I love hot dogs. And, I'm just kidding. But like I think about the things that I like or love a lot. My wife, my brother, my family, and then just for someone to say, well, yeah, increase that by 100-fold, like
Easily.
what? Okay, cool. And then and that you can't control it. That it's just like I said, like a surge of chemicals through your body to where it's a natural type of connection. It's a biological type of connection and spiritual too. So, and I don't know. I can never project myself there until it happens. Like I said,
it's weird because like you can think about it, but there are all these like emotions and feelings that come with it that you never have before that. Like
okay, that makes sense.
Like I'm like a kind of like primitive level. Like hearing your kid cry is like way different than hearing any other.
Yeah.
You hear a baby crying on the plane, and you're just like,
Oh, I know. I know.
It's like you just kind of toss it out the window.
Yeah.
It's like,
Kick that emergency door open.
Right. Don't even. We'll save the parachute. It's fine. He won't need it. But then you hear your kid cry, and it's like for me, Beckham's almost like he's like a small drunk me. He's like, he walks around and he babbles and pees his pants.
Yeah.
He looks just like me.
Yeah.
He's like my little sidekick. So like when he's upset, I feel upset. Or like when I'm changing his diaper or wiping his nose, it's like I'm just wiping my nose.
Whoa.
It's like it's not gross. Like it's weird. I mean, it's disgusting, but at the same time, it's the same as if like I don't know if I like pooped my pants or something. It's like darn, take care of this. Now.
Right.
Whereas if anyone else on the planet pooped or peed or threw up in my bed, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Get out!" But he
And
doesn't.
Flamethrower your bed.
Toss it out and sleep on the floor. But he doesn't. And I'm like, all right. Hang
Sorry,
on.
bub.
Yeah, are you all right?
I'll help you out.
Yeah, so that's a weird feeling. And then also there's the very specific emotion. It's something between pride and joy and like sadness of looking at your kid's old clothes. Yeah,
Because he's grown out of them.
Yeah, it's the saddest, most you'll never understand it until you have a kid. It's so
because he's not going back in those pants.
Yeah,
like that's it.
Yeah,
those
like
are done.
his little socks and stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not like a super emotional person, but I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
socks.
like a material manifestation of him growing up and just developing and becoming a little more independent, you know. And you have to look at it right there.
Yeah, and it's like in your hands, and then you have to give it to someone else. Here's some baby clothes.
Yeah.
It's weird watching them grow, man. It's crazy. I could ramble about it for hours.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Longest podcast in SciFi And Friends history.
If you just like go to 4-hour mark, he's talking about Beckham and when he peed the bed. No, I'm just kidding. So does Beckham, I don't want to say hinder, but does having a child make it more difficult to accomplish what you want to do? In this case, be a musician, be a physician, a philosopher,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's a weird, and I won't even take all the credit because, like, as of right now, he spends 2 or 3 days a week with me, and the rest with his mom. So I'm not even going to take all the credit for said quote unquote hindrance.
Yeah,
but it is definitely there.
I didn't want to say that.
But it's true.
Yeah,
it's like having a kid is the most like expensive and tiring and beautiful thing on the planet. It's like it is a sacrifice in a way, but it's something that like you biologically naturally feel you have to do. And I think, and just from a moral responsibility, it's our job to take care of what we've made and choices we made. And I mean, yeah, it's tough. I spend most of my time at school, and if I'm not at school, I'm at work.
Right.
And if I'm not at work, I'm with
Jim.
No, don't tell anybody that. If I'm not at work, I'm with him. and then so like gym and music, those.
Sure.
I mean, that's why I go to the gym at like 2 a.m.
Right.
It's because I just have to squeeze it in.
Right.
And the same with music. I write all my music after he goes to bed, or when he's with his mom. So you definitely have to rearrange your priorities. You can't just do what you want to do all the time.
And that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
It actually might be a focuser.
Yeah.
People such as myself might look at it and be like, oh my God, look at all the time and money and energy that it would take. But what it would do is, like you said, it would rearrange your priorities to go, you don't need to be, watching Spanish videos at 4 a.m., that's not Good for you.
I think we did that once.
Cut that out.
I think we watched.
Oh, you had Destinos.
Destinos.
God.
That was rough. It was amazing. I'd never seen it before.
You had never seen Destinos?
No, I didn't go to
Riverton.
Riverton.
Yeah. Riverton's Spanish teacher, Nelda Leslie, Miss Leslie. God bless you. Mm-hmm. But she would watch. She would make us watch those, and they were basically not a reality show, like a soap
opera,
like a Spanish soap opera.
It was intense.
That was sort of geared to teaching you Spanish. Barely. I think she just liked to watch them. I'm serious.
It was entertaining. We watched like 2 episodes.
And we did.
They were like, it was what, you, me, Trevor, and Casey,
something like that.
Yeah, just watching them.
Oh my God, so good. Raquel. Yeah.
Wow.
I always wanted. It was back in the VHS days.
Yeah.
When we were watching them, and I always wanted to, and I don't know why I didn't, but I always wanted to just get one of those videos.
The VHS tape?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then record like 30 seconds of porn on it. And then just set it back and then let it sit there.
Just watch from the back, see what happens.
Oh my God. It would have been amazing. You know, that's that kind of Fight Club type thing, you know, cutting in the single frame of a giant cock or whatever. Oh, I wanted to do it so bad, but I never did.
That happened once. I might have told you the story once. It happened with an unnamed teacher at Pitt State University.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly that. I mean, it was much more organic and natural.
Oh, boy.
But there was a moment where we're just talking about human anatomy, and I'm sitting in the middle with Casey. Casey and I had that class, so he was there. And I just look at my teacher, and he's looking at the board, and there's just an 18-foot tall just penis just on the board.
Yeah.
And it was just I had to step back and look at it objectively and just be like, we're all in a room.
Yeah.
Looking at a big penis on the board.
Right. I'm paying for this.
Thousands of dollars to see this manifestation of manhood on the screen.
And he was giving a lecture on.
And he was just so bored, and he's just like, as you can see, the penis is the male reproductive organ. And I was like, this is weird.
Oh, damn.
I wanted to Snapchat it.
Is that anatomy?
No, it was in Heckert, or was it in? It was a Heckert Wells based class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to give out
no, that's good.
the name, because I hope that you at some point have that professor on the show. That would be a great show.
Oh, that's one thing I'd really like to do when school starts, is kind of get some professors on the show. Mm-hmm. Chung and Harry's would be my first 2 choices.
Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday on the podcast with Julian. Yeah, I
haven't mentioned to it because I kind of wanted to do several episodes with friends, build up the base on iTunes, and so if they were to what's this guy all about, they could see that there are several episodes they can either tune into or just say he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
So he's legit, or in some ways legit.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to pad it as much as I can, and so that when I do ask them, I think I will have to take all my gear up there, but that's cool.
Yeah,
There's not too much to take.
They're busy people,
But it'd be cool. I'd love to have Chung on. I'd love to kind of hear his backstory and also pick his brain on a few things like vaccination.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's very opinionated on that.
Yeah, but he keeps it really his cards close to the chest.
Smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smart guy. Yeah.
When he would talk about it in class, he would dance around the answer so well and not answer one way or the other.
I'm sure he gets the same questions every year.
Oh, for sure. In fact, and we listened to the last week of summer class, microbiology. It just took off so hard, so fast. And, he takes care of his parents and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
He had to give us lectures from previous semesters. And it was word for word, joke for joke sometimes, because I had recorded my lectures while I was there, listened to those, and then listened to the older ones.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes it was, I was like, that's the same joke that he used in the first one. But I mean, Casey, I talked to Casey about it. He's like, what would you do? You know that shit so well. You know every sort of gram-positive, gram-negative, streptococci, everything.
He told you what he did his doctorate thesis on one bacteria. I don't remember what it was.
I thought he was a protozoa.
Was it?
Protozoologist. He loves those helminths.
And there was just one that he just focused so hard on for 10 years.
Yeah, 10.
Jesus,
he did a lot of. He said he did a lot of recumbent stuff, putting DNA in sort of E. coli or certain things to get them to do synthetic type stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Which really perked my ears up.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, teach me.
So what's your plan for that? You've told me kind of briefly. I know you've talked to Harry's about it. But what is your synthetic biology plan?
So there's give a little backstory. There were like a couple of TED Talks that I kind of tuned into. And POB1 was my first exposure to Craig Venter. Do you know Craig Venter?
I think you've mentioned the name, but I couldn't.
He's a badass. And he's a microbiologist that, he pushed the Human Genome Project. He's the one that funded that and made that happen.
Was that the documentary guy we watched?
Well, no.
That wasn't the guy that killed himself.
No. That's a different guy. I forget his name, but he is one of the guys that started. He's not the only one, but he's one of the first to do 3D printing in amino acids.
Oh,
and
cool.
so he was saying the applications of making your own creature are possible. So that was another video around that same time. So I'm exposed to Craig Venter, and I'm looking him up, and I bought a couple of his books because his main push was to digitize biological things. So to take your DNA and make a thumb drive out of it to where you could, scroll through and be like, oh, right here, cancer. Can we get rid of that? Okay, sure. And then the printing thing was just like the application of printing your own organisms or hacking into certain things like a house plant that you're like, I think I want a pink house plant, a pink peace lily, and then being able to get on the computer and Photoshop that, like that really intrigued me. Yeah. But I didn't quite know the reality of it. So then time went on and I picked up different books. Regenesis is what I'm reading now, all about synthetic biology, written by George Church, which I guess is some bigwig in the biology world, as Dr. Harris told me. Because I was like, have you heard of George Church? He's like, oh yeah, he's a badass. Okay. It's like, okay, sorry, late to the party. But anyway, so all that happened. And then this semester, I'm taking genetics. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of resting a little bit of choice on that. So we'll go through genetics and I'll kind of get a better idea of what synthetic biology research type thing, what does it really consist of?
With that, I think genetics, because it's not basic, it's not like easy.
Sure.
But in a way, it's kind of like fundamental.
Right.
I think what you're looking for, you'll that's mostly the focus in like chapters like 23, 24. Mm-hmm. So you'll have to wait till the end for that. But there's some good stuff in there. Right. Definitely. Yeah.
But I mean, also it's how much time I'm going to be spending a lot of time in lab. And I'm going to be looking at myself, objectively saying, hey, do you like being in here? You like messing with these pipettes? Do you like
a lot of pipettes?
Yeah. Do you like fucking with these fruit flies or whatever? And then kind of base it off that. But I don't want to jettison my filmmaking career at all either, because I really like that. And like your musician type thing, that's that's something that I wake up in the morning and I can lose myself in. Yeah, just editing or writing or shooting. All three of them, I could just lose weeks at a time. I just get so focused and just So I don't want to lose that. But I also like we talked about earlier about making a difference with the human race and so the things that I've watched on synthetic biology and the sorts of pep talks that I've seen through designing with biological applications, dude, that just fires me up.
Literally playing God in a way.
And in a way, yeah.
And that's what I was that's the philosophy in it. Like,
here we go.
How do you feel about that ethically? Because we're like science based, we know about these things, and we're around it constantly. Mm-hmm. And it's always weird for me when I talk about. I'll just casually bring up like evolution or something, or selective breeding, or even at one point I had a friend of mine who was very unconvinced about tectonic plates.
Oh boy,
he was very unconvinced. Okay, and I was just like, all right, do what you got to do.
Yeah,
but I mean, like you meet people who they don't hold those same beliefs as you, and they don't have all these professors, constantly telling, and they're not, reading the research and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they when I use that phrase "playing God," that would terrify a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And the idea of this like pure creation on a very molecular level, it's very intimidating and holds a lot of responsibility. So how do you feel? How do you just feel about that? Does it does it like kind of make you go or
for like 1 second?
Yeah,
for 1 second, I'm like. And I'm like, no, let's do it.
Yeah.
There is a responsibility for humanity to do it ethically, but at the same time, to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. So we're going to learn some things, and let's just go slow. Let's just keep the lines of communication open. Mm-hmm. Like China, don't be fucking with embryos with CRISPR. And if you are, just let us know, so we can kind of stay on the same page and whatnot. But I think it's the next step. We have an obligation to life itself to do this, to do design, to weed out certain aspects of life in the sense of cancer or disease, or to develop certain creatures that could help us renew the planet. Things that take in more carbon dioxide, or things that clean up waste or whatnot. the more that we can live in harmony with nature and with life itself, I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
So if synthetic biology, is the key, let's do it. Let's play God. In the sense, we are kind of somewhat gods, demigods in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but
I like it though. But you've got a very pure altruistic like goal and viewpoint with it. Not everybody's gonna be like, let's make some dinosaurs that clean up the CO2 and
let's do it.
They eat oil out of the ocean.
Yeah, right.
Not everybody's gonna feel that way.
Right. The goods let in with the bad, and we just have to be cognizant of it, and know that someone could make a hellacious virus of some sort and just let it go. Yeah. With the sort of application, you could have a little garage lab nowadays for a couple $1,000s, and if you knew what you were doing, I imagine you could probably make some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just the price you pay.
Yeah, it's spooky.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm down for it because I think the good outweighs the bad immensely. Can we eradicate cancer? I mean, could we have nanobots in your body that can? You could tap into your phone at applications. Here's your white blood cell count. Here's your red blood cell count. Here's the nutrients that you're lacking in to the molecular, the mole. How many moles of nitrogen?
I don't want to talk about moles. I'm done with chemistry.
Sorry.
I had all my classes. I don't want to talk about that.
But if we could make personalization of medicine as best as possible, I'm down for that. Or even, a lot of synthetic biology is focused on astrobiology.
Okay.
Making creatures that could survive in a Martian type climate.
Yeah.
Making creatures that can survive deep space.
That's cool. I didn't know about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the best things. So we take a creature such as, just a mole, and the mole doesn't reproduce quick enough and probably his skeletal structure wouldn't last in deep space very long, whatnot. Okay. So let's take some genetic data from a fish that has really strong bones. Let's put it in the mole. Let's take some data from a cat, and we'll make more fur for the mole so it's not so cold, and you create this
kind of Frankenstein.
Yes,
I wouldn't use that word in advertising, but
no. And actually, the other day I listened to a great podcast, The Infinite Monkey Cage, that talked about it's like I don't know how many 100 years maybe of Frankenstein or anniversary of when Frankenstein was written, and how that word has been propagandized, especially for science. Like GMOs used to be Frankenfood.
That's what I was just thinking
Still
about.
Still is, But in the sense of GMO, to shoot over on that topic a little bit, that's one thing that nobody understands.
Yeah.
Unless only the scientists that are doing it.
Yeah. You talk about that in genetics. And it's a lot less scary when you just read about it.
Right. Or you're just told to, the general public, and people freaking make tons of money off that stuff, off fear of saying, hey, buy organic, and which I'm not against organic, and I'm not against all these things, but it's not correct data. It's not correct knowledge that they're selling.
I hate when people use the phrasing of like all natural or organic to imply that it's healthy.
Right.
And I'm like, getting stung to death by wasps is very organic and very natural.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's still not good for me.
Right. And that's the philosophy in you, philosopher.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's like I get super frustrated, and I'm not a woman, so I won't. My opinion doesn't matter. But I get frustrated with all natural births, which is fine. I don't have anything against it. I just hate it. Women will they make it sound like using all this medicine and stuff is bad. Like I don't want to get shots, and but I don't know if they know that the mortality rate is crazy for natural childbirth.
Right. That's the same with vaccination.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally have a syringe that will give you immunity to this thing. That's hellacious. If it gets a hold of you, it's hellacious. And it'll probably kill you. But you have some data online.
Quote unquote.
You
did quotations.
I did the quotes. You have some data. You have some research online, which I'm not dogging online because I like the internet. But you haven't studied this. You are going against the people that have given their lives to this sorts of research where they're saying, yes, take this vaccine. We made this vaccination for you. Why are you foregoing it? Yeah. And now you have herd immunity. We're losing herd immunity to certain sorts of diseases because of this anti-vaccination thing to where, oh, my kid got, what is it? Not Alzheimer's. They got, not Parkinson's. Let's go through the list of diseases.
We need those vaccinations, though.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Like whooping cough.
Yes, like whooping cough, I almost had it. Anyway, kids are getting
Stupid diseases they shouldn't be getting.
Autism. There it goes.
Okay, yeah.
He goes, my child has autism because of the vaccination, and I don't think vaccinations do that.
I don't think anybody does that.
No,
has researched it.
Yes,
Has genuinely researched it.
Right. No, the parents are saying they're guarding their ego in a way and saying my genetics aren't bad or my child isn't bad or defaulted.
Yeah, not
defected.
bad, defective.
Yeah, defective. My son or daughter is not defective, and then now he has autism. It's the vaccination. It's this outside source, and now I have an enemy, and I have to go attack this enemy.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, vaccinations did not give your kid autism.
Yeah.
Your kid was genetically programmed to get autism. It happens. Which would come full circle on the synthetic stuff and go, not a problem. Bring him or her in. Mm-hmm. Let's take that gene out, CRISPR style, and we'll rehabilitate him and get him to an intelligent level to where he can operate in the real world and live a great life.
Yeah, and be vaccinated.
And be vaccinated against all this crazy shit.
I wrote, I had to write a couple papers, and one was over smallpox. It was over vaccination in general, but my main focus was smallpox. And I was reading a comment from a lady, and she said, I would rather my kid get smallpox than have autism because it's that terrible. And everybody was like, what?
In the class?
No, it was online.
Oh, okay.
It was on I was reading some anti-vax websites
gotcha.
and stuff.
Right.
And she was talking about how terrible it was having a kid with autism. And I understand that. Like, yeah, it's very tragic. Right. But, like, most kids with smallpox don't grow up, to become autistic. They just kind of die.
Right?
And we don't have smallpox anymore.
Right.
And that is because of vaccination.
That's right. There's a lot of
nice.
diseases we've gotten rid of via vaccination. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. The herd immunity is dropping in some of those things.
Yeah.
I just don't get something like that. I have a good friend that I work with that she doesn't believe we've ever been to space.
Really?
Yeah,
you told me about that.
Yeah, she says her thought is that humans have never left orbit. They might have gone up there or not. I don't know. And I say, what about the space station?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just very strange thoughts. And like you said with the person, I forgot what, the vaccination, you just kind of have to disregard those. But in a way, the vaccinations are hurting people. So you almost have to kind of put some effort into it and be like, hey, you're really messing with the system that we have going. We have a really good thing going on. This keeps us very safe. And you almost have an obligation to make sure you're vaccinated and make sure that you're you're healthy. But then a lot of people will cry eugenics and they'll cry, not like a dictatorship. Like, they're forcing us to get vaccinated, like.
That vaccinations are different than, because you could, I don't want to talk about abortion, but.
Let's go there.
Oh, let's just hit that subject right now. But it's like, that's a thing of like the government, whether or not they can tell a woman what to do with her body.
Right.
But that's different because that affects, it primarily affects her and her baby.
Right.
Whereas vaccination, the government says you have to do this, and someone says, I don't want to.
Right.
And that affects them, but it also, with the herd immunity, affects so many people around them, so many kids around them that don't have the built-up immunity to fight that off.
What do you think about, what's your opinion of if, some sort of authoritative figure were to say, either you get vaccinated or we almost exile you, we'll shut your credit card down, you cannot attend school.
Yeah.
I guess you'll have to learn how to farm, but if you're in the city, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Or would you be for that? Is that too much?
It's
quite a bit.
It's such a tough situation because that's a bit much. And it's not like the people are actively being assholes. It's like they want to protect their kids.
Sure.
And they're not like, I want to give everyone advanced meningitis syphilis.
Yeah, right. Damn.
Right. It's going around with the kids these days. You gotta watch it. But it's like, I don't know. I have my own opinions on what the government should and shouldn't tell us to do. Mm-hmm. But like an issue of public safety like that, it's a pretty big deal. I don't know. And I know there are some schools that like they won't let kids go if they're vaccinated. There are doctors' offices that have signs if your kid's not vaccinated, don't bring them in.
Right. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think. But then like as far as like actual punishment and stuff, I don't know about that.
Yeah, not like it'd be like more passive punishment. Yeah. Not we're gonna kick your door in and shoot you in the face or anything. But if you had
no vaccinations for
that, Delta Force. But in the sense of maybe the way that Facebook tells you where you are, what you're doing with your life. Alex Hill is going to Pittsburg State and he's dating this person and he's from this area. which will eventually be rendered into augmented reality when I can just look at you and you have your little profile up next to you. We could have a health profile to where, vaccinated for the following things, genetically comprehensible with my genetics. No, I cannot have children with you because we'll have one with syphilitis.
We're both dudes.
Bug.
That's the main reason.
We need a computer to tell us that. Can I? Oh, God dang it.
Damn.
He is good looking.
Such a nice beard.
Please still serenade me.
Although that's a big issue in medicine right now is privacy. Because you mentioned having what they're vaccinating. Most people, I don't think would want that just floating around their heads.
No, but if you made it, you're surprised on how many things people post, and you're like, whoa,
oh God, yeah.
Why did you post that?
Yeah,
you don't want anyone to know that. I mean, nobody's going to post that I failed the STD test.
Yeah,
no one's going to post. I have. When you're sick, you don't say this is what I have, unless it's something pretty common that's not embarrassing. But But yeah, I see what you're saying. Privacy is a big thing, but in the sense, if you were allowed companies or entities to see your profile genetically or medically or whatnot, it could be beneficial for research.
Yeah.
Huge research, but it also could be detrimental to insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, if I knew that you were deadly allergic to salmon and I just whacked you with a big giant salmon steak from, if I wanted to get rid of you. That's something pretty personal.
You'll talk about that in genetics, and I feel like we talked about that in philosophy too, because if you have all this information about a person is prone to, I don't know, they have some disease that's really dangerous or whatever,
right?
They'll know about it, but do you want your doctor to know about it,
right?
But do you want your insurance to know about it? Do you want government agencies? Do you want future employers to know about that kind of stuff?
Right? Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah. So there's privacy. It's a thin line,
Right.
It's a line you got to walk carefully.
Right. But what I said about the research thing, so if you had some sort of rare disease that your insurance might be like, we're not covering that, or your employer might be like, you're fired because that's going to cost us an ass load to treat you. A research company might be able to say, hey, you are one in 150 people that have this.
Yeah.
If you come and let us, do tests on you and whatnot, maybe we can find a cure. That's one of the only things to where if that company or that group or unit could keep your data private, then that would be a positive, beneficial thing, especially for anyone else had to have that. Mm-hmm. Or if we found some sort of application within that sort of disease or whatnot to help another disease. Yeah. Or, illness.
Yeah, just helping out other people with your problem, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting how many times that you're studying one thing and then find a correlation with something else completely, not similar in any way.
Yeah.
To be like, whoa, this will be really good. This doesn't work on AIDS, but it is really good for toxoplasmosis, you know? And you would never have found that unless you were looking. For sure. And made that connection.
Yeah. What was it, insulin that he just found on accident? He was researching something else, and it's let's just use this for...
Oh, penicillin.
Penicillin,
yeah. Alexander Hill?
Probably, yeah, it was me. It was definitely me.
Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming.
You've had microbiology much more recently than I have. It's all a little fuzzy for me.
I Radio Lab, the podcast Radio Lab, I give all the credit to that. They did one called Staff Retreat, STAPH, Staff Retreat, and it was all about the history of penicillin and antibiotics. It's a great episode.
Okay.
But
shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Go look it up. It's I posted it in Canvas, Microbiology Day 1, and I was like, hey, everyone listen to this. And lucky enough, my lab partner did. So really? Yeah, I was like, thank God. So we had something to talk about, and I was like, okay, so you're cool enough to listen to this kind of stuff.
I remember you what did you post in?
All sorts of shit.
Yeah. Well, and we met in abnormal psychology.
We did.
Just a few short months ago. And you posted something about, what was it, lithium treatments for...
Yeah, that was actually another Radio Lab podcast.
Was it? Okay.
Yep, yeah, where a girl had some sort of psychological abnormal, I don't quite remember the actual term, but she was taking lithium that would make her normal. And I don't know, it went into all that. But we had mentioned lithium treatment in class, and I was like, dude, perfect. Real world application, tune in,
I got that question wrong on the test.
Oh, damn.
I specifically remember.
You did?
Yeah, super wrong. I put down, I don't even know, I put down just the totally wrong drug.
You got all A's.
Hardly. That was my lowest class by far.
Yeah, but you got an A.
Barely.
You screenshotted the report card. A. Organic, you had organic, lab, and lecture. Gen X, lab, lecture. You don't want to talk about it?
No, it's like, I mean, I guess you can't know unless you were there, but it's like genetics and organic, pretty tough, And then I had
whatever,
contemporary philosophy. You'll find out next semester. You'll figure it out. And then I had contemporary philosophy. It was pretty tough, And then we had abnormal psychology. Awesome class. Love the teacher. Good time.
Yeah.
Super freaking easy.
Yeah.
It was so it was super straightforward.
Yeah.
And it was by far my lowest grade. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah.
Why is this?
That doesn't happen to bio majors.
No, it's weird.
When we went to, I had sensation and perception. 'Cause I'm a psych minor. So
Sensation and perception.
That's right.
Sounds very sexy. That sounds like a very interesting.
You'd think that, but we spent so much time on the eyes and seeing rods and cones and all that kind of stuff. But when we first started the class, he was saying, this class is very difficult and you're going to have to put in a lot of study time. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here we go. And just compared to a bio class, it was just
cake.
Oh, my God, it was cake.
Really?
I mean, no offense to the psych people or anything, but the bio classes are just so much more intense. I mean, they're just... My number one problem with science classes, and specifically chemistry and biology, is that most of the terminology and philosophy and theories that are coming my way, I have no reference point for. Like, I'm hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
Gram positive and gram negative, for instance. Like, okay.
Peptidoglycan layers in
yeah,
the cell
like
membrane.
That's the first time I've ever heard that word come out of someone's mouth. And how can I put that to application? Well, I can't. So what helped me a lot was listening to the lecture twice, being exposed to the lecture and basically just hearing things. And my brain goes, okay, well, now we've heard it, and then when I re-listen to the lecture, and then it starts making sense.
Like cement it, kind of.
Yeah, it starts coming like different layers. Now I can make a little more connection. If I read the book, then I can make a little more connection. But it's making that first reference point, the base layer of I've never heard this before.
Yeah,
I don't know what it means. Plasmids and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
It's not day-to-day life.
No, it's not day-to-day life. And when you start spending a lot of time in lab or around bio students or professors, it's kind of cool because they kind of speak your language after a while, Yeah. And anything has a language. I was talking to Mikey and Royland the other day, and they're both amazing, amazing videographers. But the level of videography and terminology that we were using in our little threesome, it was insane. Like, at one point, I kind of looked around the room, and people were kind of tuning in. And then they'd tune right out because they didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Dropping 4K, 5K frames per second and, lenses and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, whoa.
You have those moments like, you'll be talking about like plasmids or like peptidoglycan layers and whatever. And you stop and you're just like, what the hell am I talking about? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah. That's actually a really good way to learn things, just to talk about it. And Kelsey asked me about AIDS and SCID the other day. Well, not the other day, when I was taking the class. And I just started like, the difference is one is genetic and blah, 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 blah. And AIDS, they attack your T4 cells. And then about midway through my little monologue, I was like, okay, I get that much. I got that much because I could regurgitate that.
Yeah, you spit it back out.
Yeah, it felt really good. So then I almost give myself little mini lectures in my office. Once I get a little chunk of data, I'm like, okay, explain this to me. And once, I don't know, that really helps me to when I can explain it to someone or even myself.
I've always heard that like you haven't learned something until you can teach it to someone else.
Right.
Or you can explain it to someone else. There were several instances like when I was studying organic in particular, that's where most of my time went. I'd be like just staring at the book and I'd be like reading through these notes and it's just like it's a blur and I'm like I have no idea what the hell's going on, and then there's just an instant where I'm like,
yep,
oh yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get the same thing. Microbiology happened about halfway through.
Yeah.
It was just all, all the chemical tests, you got the catalase and the gelatinase and all that. Like you said, it's a blur. Things are just flying past you, and you kind of recognize something, and then poof, there it goes.
It's gone, yeah.
But yeah, there's a weird moment to where it's just, I don't know, I just woke up one day and I was like, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
That happened for me in microbiology, specifically in lab, because you've got all those different tests.
Yeah.
And there was one day where Chung wrote up on the board, it was a flow chart, and it was like...
I know this flow chart.
Yeah, that was when I was like, that's what we're doing. I had no idea that we were testing for things.
Right. We were actually looking for species of certain... strains.
If it does this test, then you've got these options, then you test it again. I didn't realize that until he wrote it up on the board, and then it just clicked so easy.
Yeah, once you see the whole picture.
Yeah.
I remember him writing that on the board.
Yeah. I'm a very visual learner, though. That's something I realized about myself. Like auditory, like
Sure.
I can listen and lecture, but I have to go back. I have to read the book. I have to see pictures of it.
Right.
If you can show me a picture, it clicks,
I think that's probably most people. I think most people are probably visual. That's why our visual cortex is humongous, and our eyes are nice and wide.
Yeah.
Which is an application of virtual reality, especially oriented towards the sciences. That will change knowledge in general forever.
We talked about learning with virtual reality. You talked about
God,
that was it Dreamscapes or something like that?
Dreamscape is one, but there's another one called Inside the Cell, and it literally takes you inside the cell, and it's all those Harvard videos. Have you seen the CGI? Mm-hmm. That's one thing when they kind of show you the CGI, what's going on, but to look around and then it gives you a tour, and it brought up the 3 this is tubulin. And then it gave you the scale, like it's 0.2 nanometers or whatever. And if you can rotate it and flip it and zoom in and understand it, and then if you want to go deeper, you just click it or whatever, and then it could show you, oh yeah, tubulin holds this together and blah blah blah, does this and whatnot.
That's cool.
And you're visually looking at it. You're not getting a lecture, you're not getting a PowerPoint. You are visually, and you're inside the cell, and it's kind of cool because other things are happening around you. There's transcription going on over here, and you got your ribosomes over here, and your centrales over here.
Have you done this?
Yeah, I've done it.
Oh,
yeah, it's in my office right now.
Oh, okay.
But it's so rough cut. It's kind of like let's just push something out. But the application. The possibility of if someone like Pittsburg State would start their own, Oculus Rift or virtual reality based learning,
that'd be crazy.
It'll change the world. I mean, whoever's going to hop on that, it changes the world. The applications for architecture to where you can virtually run around architecture and go. These are I don't know much about architecture, but these are the steel beams that would work. Okay, let's change it to wood. What's it look like with wood? How's it hold up? All that kind of stuff. I mean, it's going to change the way that humans learn, humans act, how they design.
It makes me wonder, how things were before we had all this technology.
Yeah.
I just think about like what we were talking about GPS earlier.
Yeah.
I was joking. I have an okay sense of direction with where I'm going and stuff. And I could read the map.
Right.
If there was a dead body, I'd find it.
Yeah.
I'd get there eventually.
Right.
But
something smells.
But I don't know. I can't imagine traveling from here to California on a wagon, just going west.
You following the sun.
There's a trail and you follow it for weeks.
And especially getting to a place like if I go, hey Alex, ride your wagon to Los Angeles. How much of a difference does it make? If you're going west at 23 degrees versus 24.
All the difference.
All the difference. You're going to end up in Oregon or something. Yeah. Possibly. So the actual distinctness of getting somewhere or whatnot has increased that much with GPS. That's the same with this sort of thing. My dad and people before us probably they have the textbook. They have some drawings. There's not even computer rendered images. It's just drawings of a cell or something. Or you have like a model of a cell.
Yeah.
And now we're about to have goggles strapped on our face to where we can literally just walk through a cell. Yeah. Right.
Do you think that makes us smarter?
Yes.
Do you think it's because it's easier?
Right.
Life is definitely easier, and I think we sacrifice some things because it's like we have handicaps.
Yeah.
We've got all this information that we don't have to look it up anymore. We just Google it anywhere. We need to get somewhere. We Google it. Do you think that handicaps us, or do you think it helps us?
It's both. It's a trade-off. You know. And it's nothing against the people that came before us and put their time in and memorized, all the amino acids and everything. But literally, we have that on our phone now. Yeah. We swapped out different tools. So now instead of using brain space for memorizing things that would definitely be helpful, like survival things, we can put it into other things such as music or filmmaking, which can enhance other people's lives in a way, whether it's entertaining, stress release, or teaching someone. Yeah. You could teach someone through your music. I can teach someone through a documentary or whatnot. And we can put it in other things. We're learning, our ancestors did not learn how to program computers.
No.
They didn't have to. They didn't need to. But since we don't have to worry about a saber tooth gnawing on our skull, we can learn how to program computers that memorize the amino acid chart for us or whatever.
Which gives us medicine and synthetic biology and all this stuff.
All sorts of, and gives us games, just stupid things like Ark and Call of Duty. Xbox, there's a lot of, application. And weird thing is people will give their whole life to that. People give their whole life to something like football. They grow up with football, they play football, they live football, they read football, they go into a career of football, and then when they get done with the career of football, they go into another career of talking about football, and they write about football, and they podcast about football. I mean, they just give their whole life to a meaningless thing. I love football, but it's truly meaningless
Yeah.
in this grand scheme of things. I guess everything is meaningless, Mr. Philosopher.
Yeah,
Do you?
little nihilism going on?
Would you
there.
go a little Ecclesiastes there?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
Give them a taste.
So I'm going to segue right there.
Oh shit. Okay.
If we're going nihilism,
Yeah.
and if you kind of think about, I mean, what's worth doing then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. No.
So no physician.
Just sit down and die eventually. Who was it? It was Albert. I think it was Camus who said the only true philosophical question is whether or not you should kill yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
And he didn't like. I think he gets labeled more as an existentialist, but he hated that label. He didn't like being. A lot of philosophers don't.
I think it's more popular to be nihilistic.
It's cooler.
It's definitely cooler because it's a headshot to any sort of argument.
Yeah. Any form of logic or anything. Just fuck it.
It's multiplied by 0, bitch. You know, every time. Like you become the grand king of Persia and you discover everything that's discovered. You died. You're gonna die.
Game over. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Synthetic biology comes along. They say, hey, this gene is the God gene. You'll never die. You get it. You don't die.
Yeah.
Now, does nihilism still stand up?
I don't know if nihilism ever stood up in the first place. I think a lot of people consider it like just a pointless, cheap, whatever.
Right.
And there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, you can look at any philosopher who claims to purport any ism, and they'll all have different viewpoints on it. But well, let me ask you a real question.
Real question?
Are we? Yeah, all this before I was just joking. Now this is serious.
I know, you're looking right at me.
Yeah. Is this invincibility or just immortality?
Okay, let me define.
Yeah.
Immortality would be never dying.
No aging, yeah.
No age. Okay, gotcha. No age. It's invincibility.
So like if a rock falls on me.
Nope.
See, that's
you're Daenerys Targaryen, and you're not.
So I'm hot.
You're a hot little blonde.
Nice.
14 years old. Controls some reptiles that fly.
No, it's I read. You ever been on cracked.com? It's the best website ever. I haven't been on there in a long time. Yeah, bring it up. They have they do like these lists. They're super funny and they're usually pretty well researched. And let's see what they got on here right now, real quick.
Is this like a Newgrounds?
No, this is like
Shout out to Newgrounds. So they do like top 10 lists.
Yeah. And there was one, it was like top 10 reasons why superpowers would be shitty or whatever. Or I don't know, I think it's invincibility in particular maybe. And like reason number like 3 was the fact that statistically and like from a probability viewpoint, you will get stuck somewhere forever. Like it's just destined to happen.
Like a boulder crushes you and you're like, I'm stuck here until someone digs me up.
Yeah, which might be never if everyone else is dead.
That would suck.
Yeah, really bad.
And that would really suck. But maybe you just, go into some deep meditation and you're like, I don't know, like you're like the guy off Game of Thrones at the bottom of the roots of the tree.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, well, now I'm going to learn how to time travel because I have all the time in the world.
But you're not caught up.
I'm at season 6, episode 3, so don't go past that.
Yeah, you're not caught up.
So spoiler alert, we're going to talk a little bit about Game of Thrones. So
Game of Thrones.
That's
That was it.
That's the theme. So if you haven't watched or are not caught up, stop listening right now. So last night, Jon Snow was brought back to life.
Oh, just last night?
Just last night, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so I'm on episode 3.
How did you feel about that?
I love Jon Snow, so I'm so happy he's back. I didn't like to see him go.
It was sad. He's my favorite character.
I agree.
In the show by far. And
Besides Daenerys.
Do you watch The Walking Dead?
No.
Okay. They had an incident, double spoiler alert, where they quote unquote killed off a very main character.
Okay.
Like a fan favorite, and then they brought him back. But they did it wrong.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
Because they don't have magic.
yeah. Well, yeah.
There's no magic.
Well, the thing with The Walking Dead is like
You set the rules up of the world, now you broke the rules.
Yes. Well, it wasn't. He didn't die. He just he hid somewhere, and it turns out that he was just hiding, and he came out, and the zombies left. And it was, but it was total bullshit. Everybody knew it was bullshit,
right?
And cheap. It was a tactic. The thing with like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones is they're ballsy shows.
Yep.
And you like somebody, fuck them, they're dead.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Okay, Walking Dead's the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Game of Thrones is like Ned Stark going out. I almost quit. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
My mom has such a huge crush on Sean Bean. It's nasty. She stopped watching after season 1.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, she's like, there's no point. It doesn't matter.
I love Ned.
Yeah. But and you start hearing more about him as the season progresses.
Yeah.
He's got some stuff going on.
We've been messing around with Ned a little bit in the past.
Yeah, literally in the past.
Yeah.
But like Walking Dead, they killed off their character, and they did it kind of cheap. You could feel it, and there people were arguing about it, and then they brought him back. But they made you wait like 3 or 4 episodes. The explanation wasn't that great. It was just like he was hiding.
Right.
And then it was just like, oh, whatever. And it was almost like you kind of lose faith in it, like that they have the balls to kill off a fan favorite like that. Now you know you've got this group of like 5 characters that they're probably going to be fine.
Right.
And it kind of takes that edge away. Whereas Game of Thrones, they did bring Jon back, but they did it next episode.
Yeah. It was like 2 episodes.
Was it 2?
Well, he died in the last season 5.
Was
and
it
then
the first or second that they brought him back?
The 3rd.
Was it the 3rd, really?
Yeah, he just came back last night and we just watched the 3rd.
Really?
Yeah. I think. No, it was the 3rd, yeah.
Was it?
No. Oh, sorry. I just watched this last night. He's brought back on the end of episode 2.
Okay.
And then he's there for the whole 3rd episode.
Okay, so they kind of did that too. I don't know, something about it though. It's they've got magic, so they've got that scapegoat. That, it's magic.
Well, yeah. Like, one thing I really, really enjoy is literature and plot development and whatnot. It's a huge aspect of filmmaking. And when you make a world, you have to set rules.
Yeah.
And as a writer and a creator, you cannot break those rules. So if you wanted some sort of magic or brought back to life type thing, you should have put that in The Walking Dead somewhere, even like a mention of it, far in a previous season.
Yeah.
And they did not. They broke their own rules. And like you said, now you're skeptical.
Yeah.
Are zombie dragons going to come out? I don't know. Now anything is possible because you broke the rules. But yeah, like you said in Game of Thrones, it's warlocky and whatnot, so there is some sort of magic. And they also did, like you said, they did it right. They kept his body around, so that's foreshadowing right there. They're saying, well, he's not gone yet. There's still a chance. There's still a chance.
I think everybody pretty much was like, even the teaser posters for season 6 had pictures of Jon Snow.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was like they did it right. They did it in a way that I thought was fair to the viewers. The Walking Dead, I felt like it was just a cheap shock card. It was like, oh, we killed this guy. No, we didn't. Haha.
Right. But what can you do with 8 seasons of zombie killing and trying to survive?
I think it's not 8. I think
I don't know.
They just finished up 6.
I'm just saying, there's a lot.
Yeah. Same as Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but Game of Thrones has so many storylines, and it just keeps you interested.
Yeah.
I've never watched. I'm not a fan of the gore. I don't like zombies as much. I like White Walkers zombies, but not like Walking Dead or anything like that.
They're classier.
They're a little classier. Yeah.
They're a little bit neater.
Less. I don't know. They just fit better. I don't know. The zombie films are always so gory. I'm just not a big fan of that. Nah, it's just like
Walking Dead's not too. I mean, it's like. It's not scary at all.
Right.
It's super dramatic. I like it. It's definitely getting to that point where you're like, this is the same thing every season.
Just different characters or scenarios. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's very repetitive. That's it's still. I'll keep watching. I'm so invested in it. It's like shit.
Why not? You're this deep.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones has like a nice overall goal for every character. You have like all your subplots, and they're all kind of intertangled, and it's really cool when they cross. When fucking Tyrion meets up with Daenerys, and like, oh, sweet, these are worlds colliding. But then you have the overall goal of who's going to sit on the Iron Throne, who's going to settle everything the fuck down.
Yeah.
So that kind of keeps you invested because you're like, I want to know like who's going to make it. Who's going to rule all of Westeros.
And it's like it's a consistently good show.
Yes.
I've never just been like, this is starting to suck a little bit. And like almost every show has that moment. Walking Dead has that moment. Mad Men, I was talking to Kelsey about it, but I don't know. Breaking Bad was
like
pretty much perfect.
Season 4 or 5, it dipped.
Really?
I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just kind of like getting us ready for all the awesomeness that was coming along.
Yeah.
But there was kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, this is kind of strange.
With Breaking
Bad, wasn't
Bad,
terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like the last. You've seen, I didn't like the last or like the skinheads, like the Nazis, because for me it was just like they had this really cool bad guy when they had Tuco, and then they had what's his name, Gus or whatever.
Gus,
super cool, and then like they just kind of needed another bad guy. So here's some Nazis real quick.
Yeah. I mean, they served their purpose, but they weren't on the same caliber as like a Gus.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as invested,
Exactly.
Like when Gus got blown up or whatever and half of his face is gone, like.
It was like 2.5 seasons of work.
2.5 seasons of work, and then just to see him go like that, it was like, oh, I really enjoyed you fucking with everything.
Yeah.
So.
He was the boss.
Yeah, so these Nazis, I mean, when the machine gun in the back just takes them all out, it was just kind of like, good for you, Walter. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
We didn't really know them. We didn't know they were just bad guys.
Right, they were just some flat characters that you wanted to blast away, which is fine. They, like I said, they served their purpose, but they weren't as emotionally charged as anyone else. That was a good observation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna finish up Game of Thrones season 6 before school starts.
Definitely, yeah.
So
I don't have internet right now, so my Netflix. Oh, I know. I was talking to Kelsey like 2 months ago about Mad Men and how I've got like 5 episodes left, and I still have like 5 episodes left.
Go.
So
you just want to hang out for a while and
like leave 5 hours from now. Well, it's like the show's really dry and slow, and that's because it's supposed to be. It's a drama. It's a period drama, but it's really well written, super enjoyable. And I haven't finished it, so I don't know.
Okay,
I wasn't super convinced by Kelsey's, how she hinted at it.
Right.
But I've got like 4 episodes left, and it's just like they're just walking around doing business.
There's not like a charge.
There's nothing happening. Yeah.
Right. There's no build up. There's no like plot twists.
And I mean, it's not like that kind of show. There's not a whole lot of like super intense action or
no.
whatever. I think a guy got his foot ran over with a lawnmower once. That was cool. And that shocked the hell out of me.
Really?
Like, what the fuck is
going on? Yeah. Game of Thrones, like, guys get their heads cut off
every day.
Yeah, just all the time.
And people, there's a guy in Game of Thrones that has died like 4 times.
What?
3 or 4 times. He's I forget his name, but he's died several times. And not the red woman. But
oh yeah, I know.
What god do they worship? I forget.
The red.
Isn't the red god?
Blood god?
Sun god or something?
God, 7-faced god? No.
No.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
The kind of spooky one that might be real. Like, it's like, this might be the actual one. He's brought him back several times. Google it.
What?
Yeah, it's like the guy's not a huge character, and he's been played by like 2 different actors. But
what is he associated with? Stannis' army? Is he associated with?
He switched sides at one point. He's because he's in season 1, he's in season 2, he's in like season 4, and then we see him again in season 6.
But they don't really make a big deal of him. Like, there's not like a scene where
there is one scene where someone kills him. It might have been the Hound, and he comes back like immediately. He's like, oh shit.
Oh,
okay. I was like, oh shit, but it wasn't a
Yeah,
huge deal. It wasn't
right.
like Jon Snow,
Yeah, right.
But so
Some
these
ceremony.
So these things are happening, and they're all associated with the same god. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's very spooky.
Yeah, I'm interested to finish up.
Let me know when you finish season 6 because a lot goes on.
No, dude, everyone told me because season 5 dipped hard for me. I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, really?
About episode 5 through 7. No, 7. No, 8 was the one that was like, this whole season is worth it.
Yeah.
When John went to the north and got the wildlings and the White Walkers showed up, like that was one of the most badass episodes of all time.
Was that the one with the War on the Wall? The whole like show blurs together.
Sure. No, War on the Wall is season 4.
4.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that one was awesome too. That's season 4, episode 9.
Yeah.
When the 3 boys and the fucking giant are in the tunnel, that's one of the best scenes when they recite their vow to the wall and they're charging at one another. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. So good. That show is so well written. The dialogue in Game of Thrones is some of the most superb dialogue I have ever heard.
Yeah, there's never a scene that feels like it's just like bullshit. Like never like filler.
No, never. And it's so well written, and the maximum amount of information is passed along to the viewer and between characters each scene. It's unbelievably written well.
It's a huge world. There's a lot of info to pass around.
A lot of info. So, and I can't imagine the showrunners being like, okay, this is what needs to happen, specifically, because you're listening to the audiobooks. How much more information is passed along in an audiobook, Sansa Stark, kicked over a bucket and blah, 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 or whatever, The showrunners actually have to pick through all that and make a little puzzle and say, all right, this is the most important scene because we have 1 hour, like 55 minutes.
Well, HBO, they go for the full hour.
Oh, they go, so we have 1 hour because HBO is awesome.
Hell yeah.
We have 1
Shout
hour
out.
to cram all this information in there. Plus action, plus plot development, plus let's kill a
Titties.
character. And titties, yeah.
Most important part of Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
absolutely. Someone asked me the other day what Game of Thrones is like, and she goes, oh, is it like Lord of the Rings? I go, yeah, Lord of the Rings with titties, lots of decapitation, and gay sex.
Oh, yeah.
She's what? I'm like, she goes, why? I go, it's HBO.
Exactly, yeah.
She goes, oh, okay. Whatever.
They go hardcore. I love, have you ever listened to Mastodon?
Yes.
They're in Game of Thrones.
Of course, they look like they would
They
be.
belong there. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like Brent and Bronn and like...
They even
I
have
think
Game
Bill
of
was in
Thrones
there.
names.
Yeah,
Brent and Bronn.
Yeah.
Son of Brandon.
Yeah, like those 3 were like, they were in the show. They played wildlings. Have you
Okay.
seen that?
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
But I've seen people that probably look like them.
Yeah, it's so convincing. Mastodon's one of my favorite bands of all time. And they pop up in a couple of episodes as wildlings, and you always see one of the showrunners. I forget the name. The two guys, you always see their names.
DB Weiss and the other guy.
Yeah,
they my heroes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool. One of them's always wearing a Mastodon shirt.
Oh, really?
All that's like every interview.
Nice.
Super cool. And I think he has one that's like Game of Thrones styled. I don't know.
That would be dope.
Yeah, like Google it. Yeah, let's look at the Google
Game
real quick.
of Thrones showrunner. Yeah, these guys are so fucking cool. And a little David Benioff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And DB Weiss, here they are.
I think it's DB Weiss that's always wearing the shirt. Because he was on. They were doing some interview. They had like the whole cast. I was watching like PBS the other day because we don't have cable or whatever. So I was just bullshitting through the channels. And yeah, I saw like the Todon on his shirt.
I don't see him wearing any Mastodon stuff yet. Maybe that's got to be it, something like that. I think it's David.
Maybe so.
I think it's this David cat.
Just Google just like Game of Thrones Mastodon. Just check it out.
When they were trying to get permission from George, there they are.
Right, they fit so
nice. So these two in the middle.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, of course I've seen those many times. Just didn't know. That's awesome. No, when they were trying to get permission from George R.R. Martin, they go through and they were saying, "Oh, we're so passionate about your books. We want to make them into a TV series and et cetera, et cetera." And they had this long meeting, and the very last, George was like, "Okay, I'm pretty much convinced, but I got to ask you one thing. Who is Jon Snow's mother?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh," they knew.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they said, "This is who we think she is," because the books aren't completed. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know this. Yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, that's right.
You got it."
Yeah. So go ahead and make your movie.
Yeah.
make your TV series.
Well, the show's past the books, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what part it surpassed the books. Is it all of season 6? I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Because the books go to what? Dance of
haven't-
Dragons, or
I don't know. I haven't. I'm on the first book. Like I'm not even gonna pose like I know everything about it. But yeah, I know they do pass a little bit. And like the George R.R. Martin told the showrunners, like, this is what happens in case I
.
fucking die. He's old as hell and he takes his time.
Yeah, what is up with that? Why isn't he just like this? You need to get this finished, George.
Oh, we've got The Game of Thrones came out in 1996.
This is the books.
Yeah, books. And
These
you
are
got
books.
Clash of Kings 98, Storm of Swords 2000, Feast for Crows 2005. When did Game of Thrones the show start? Was it 2011? 12?
2000.
Because A Dance with Dragons came out 2011. And then the last two books,
Winds of Winter, A Dream of Spring.
yeah, those both say forthcoming.
Right. Both of them are forthcoming. I think it was kind of cool that George was like, "Hey, here's what happens." Like, it's kind of cool that he knows, but then it's also kind of cool that he's like, "I kind of want to see your interpretation."
Yeah.
So there's going to be two. George isn't going to copy the movie, the TV show.
Yeah.
He's going to do his George thing. So there's always going to be two alternate endings to Game of Thrones with roughly the same outcome.
And they're both George R.R. Martin approved.
Both George R.R. Martin approved. I had this theory of that to where I always thought he did this because if you go on like a Reddit or something and you have like true fans and they say, "Hey, you should write it like this," or if it would end like this, George could just cherry pick all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And just
I've
write
thought
the
about that,
greatest
too.
book of all time that makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's a little idea here, a little here, twist here. Oh, here we go.
There's one fan who's like, that's me.
That was me. But I mean, you literally have a writer's room via the internet. Through some of the smartest, most passionate fans ever. Some of it's probably dog shit, but some of it's probably, "Oh, that's pretty good."
Yeah. I mean, because most of us have been watching and reading for like 4 years.
Right.
Whereas a lot of these people, 1996 is when the first book came out.
Right. And I'm sure he wrote things before that too. So there's going to be some George R.R. Martin like fans just of the author himself, and then just became Game of Thrones.
That must be cool.
That must be cool.
to have like if you're like a hardcore fan, and eventually it becomes like, it must be cool for him 20 years later.
Seriously.
It's one of the most popular shows on television.
I mean, but that guy is just given his life to the world of Game of Thrones, you know? I mean, you and I, we can tune in for a season and then tune out and we go about our lives. But that guy literally, I mean, have you ever seen the interview where he has every character? He's made every character in a little not a doll, but like a little figurine. He has a mountain of figurines. Every character.
Ever?
Yeah, that he's made up. Let me
I
find
haven't
this
seen
for you.
that.
Yeah, he like will paint them and give them certain little trinkets and whatnot, and a lot of those little things are based on, or not based on, but have inspired the movie or the video, the TV show.
Yeah.
George R. Martin.
Toy collection.
Yeah, he has all these. Oh, not the book collection. Let's see. What would you type? What would you?
Like figurine.
Figurine, I guess. It's not how you spell figurine, but close enough. Google, help me out.
Figurine. Or is it?
Let's try it. We'll try to look for one. It's been a while since I've watched this, but I've never forgot it.
Oh, we'll check it out.
There you go. You hear it.
Game of Thrones is currently the biggest and most expensive television series in the world.
Most expensive. I didn't know that one.
Oh, yeah.
Medieval fantasy.
I believe it.
One episode, the
Tolkien-style swords and
Battle of
sorcery.
Blackwater was like $9 million. Yeah. I mean, that first season, they were spending so millions, more than any other TV show in history. And it was such a big gamble. And HBO was like, well, fuck it, could do it. You know? And then now it's, oh, yeah. A lot of the, oh, there it is. A lot of the, sorry, here, let's watch this real quick.
Or Shakespeare, they did Shakespeare, Hamlet as a comic book. But then I discovered Superman and Batman, and they were much cooler.
Superhero inspiration, once again, you know?
Superhero comic books. So I think it was really comic books that made me interested in reading and in stories and in heroes.
As a schoolboy, George Martin was writing superhero and science fiction stories for himself, his friends, and for comic fanzines. He still has some of the figurines which inspired those stories.
These are some of my first characters. Most of these are aliens made in the United States.
So he's made all these figurines from previous books
Sold
now.
in 5 and dime stores.
They've got a cool like
And they're
retro
stories.
alien look to them.
So I made up stories for them, and this is some of my earliest writing. But I decided that these were a gang of space pirates. This guy was from.
I wonder if that's in his house.
Yarn.
He says like mountains of
He was the
toys.
It'd have to be. It's like a huge collection.
Yeah, but they're very well organized.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure
And he's
out
just
this
playing
pirate.
with them. So I mean,
Yeah, true. Oh, he's George R. R. Martin, man.
do what he wants.
This weird little weapon. So I decided he was the pirate torturer.
That's a great way to do it, though. You know, when you develop a character for a story, usually it's all mental. You know, you just have this sort of mental picture of him and backstory and whatnot. But to physically make them, I mean, that would be really helpful.
That was a dream of mine as a kid to have like an action figure of me.
Of you?
That'd
Yeah,
be so cool.
That would be sweet.
I'd throw me off the roof.
Why don't we make a company with 3D printers that you just upload your picture and like, oh, you want a cape? Okay, you got a cape. You know, you want a shotgun? You got a shotgun, you know, and then we just print it out.
That'd be cool.
All right, written down. Written down. There's a nice,
A little baby throne.
the throne.
The United States could do no wrong. And
You know who's going to be
the
the king of Westeros? It's George. George is going to show up and be sitting on the throne.
Surprise, bitch.
Before that, I just thought about, well, we're in another war and we're helping poor people.
Anyway,
By taking a
so yeah, he has all those little figurines, and at one point, I don't know quite where it's at, but at one point he goes through all the Game of Thrones people and all the characters that he's made up. I mean, all those were characters he made up, but specifically for the Song of Fire and Ice.
Oh, were
series.
those? So that was before the show.
Those little figurines that he was showing were like the first.
Little alien ones.
Yeah, the aliens were the first stories that he was writing. So he would make these figurines, put them out, and go, okay, and then put a story to them. So what he was saying is, those particular aliens, he goes, these are going to be space pirates, and then he gave little biographies to each one. Like the one that has one had like
The pirate torturer.
Yeah, he had like saw discs for hands, and he was like the torturer guy. So you can kind of see where his inspiration came from for a lot of like A Song of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Developing characters, because every character in Game of Thrones is very well developed.
Super fleshed out.
Yeah, they're amazing and so deep in their decisions and their choices and all that kind of stuff. It's great.
I like his writing style. I've been reading a lot of Well, I've always been reading a lot of Stephen King, but right now I'm trying to chug through his Dark Tower series.
Right. I saw you post that.
Yeah, we've got the movie coming out next February.
Yeah.
It's got Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey.
What?
Yeah, all-star cast. I'm excited.
No way.
And so I'm trying to dig through it, and like there's I think 7 main books, and I think there's like one after, so there's like 8 total.
Okay.
And according to all the internet sources, the book or the movie, I mean, is going to pull from all the books. It's going to be kind of like a reimagining.
Okay.
It's not just going to be like, here's the story.
Right.
It's all Stephen King approved, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, he's directly involved in production. But have you read them?
I have not.
Okay, yeah. But it's like, have you read a Stephen King book before?
I have.
His
So good.
Yeah, the way he writes is amazing.
Yeah, Stephen King is awesome.
He uses some of the best, just most random adjectives, and just his syntax is crazy.
The way that he releases information to you is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't like tell you that the girl is dead in the first
vague.
line.
Yeah.
He builds it for you, so you're like, oh, that's crazy. Whoa, that's crazy. What? She's dead? You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, I love it.
It's like it's so direct and yet kind of like artsy, and like the way he describes situations. He's like he's vague. He's kind of ambiguous about it, but it's enough to let you exactly know what's going on.
Yeah, right.
He has this little trick. I've seen it in a couple of his books that always pisses me off, where he'll be like, a character is like talking to his friend, and the last sentence of the paragraph is, "That was the last time he saw his friend alive." And I was like, "What the?" He's done it in so many books.
Right.
It drives me nuts.
Stephen?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I wonder why. You know, he's letting you know that this character. I guess it's like some sort of foreshadowing suspension. Like, okay,
But it's so direct though.
right,
It's
but
weird.
but you know that this guy's going down in some way.
Yeah.
So you're kind of anticipating it, which
Yeah.
I guess could cause suspension, but it's just a different
so
kind.
blunt. Yeah, I'd never seen that in a book before. It was the first one was Cell, which is a newer book, and I think he was the main character had some female companion who was on the adventure with him.
Oh, right.
and it was like a character that you were invested in, you know,
Right.
And he just like straight at the end of like a chapter, he's just like, "That was the last time he saw her alive." I was like, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah, right.
It almost made me mad.
I've read it when I was a kid. I read a lot of Michael Crichton, which is kind of where like my writing
Jurassic
came
Park,
from.
right?
Jurassic Park and Timeline and what am I trying to think? And Andromeda, right? Andromeda Strain. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read a Crichton book, but I read a lot of the Crichton books, and you know he would do that on some of the ending of his chapters, like Jurassic Park and the Lost World, to where, you know, so and so was in a raptor nest or something, and it was just like he felt the claws in his back, and then it would just end, you know, and that's the end of that character.
That's pretty solid.
I guess
suspense.
so.
I mean,
right
at the end of a book, he would do that.
at the end of a chapter.
Okay, yeah.
Or something. But I mean, sometimes they'd come back, sometimes they wouldn't.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, I don't know. His was really cool. His description of dying through via dinosaur was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome in my head, at least.
I never read. I think I read like a quarter of one of his books. It wasn't Jurassic Park or anything. I think it had something to do with time travel or something.
Timeline. Yeah, Timeline.
I don't think
they made a movie about Paul Walker. Timeline, yeah. They time travel.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
I don't think so. Maybe I just said that because you said timeline.
No,
Maybe that's why.
was it Sphere? Sphere is about like they go to the bottom of the ocean and there's like this alien thing, and it, spoiler alert, it like manifests your subconscious.
Oh.
It's
Sounds
kind of cool.
cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty cool. They made a movie with Dustin Hoffman and Samuel L. Jackson. Book is better, obviously. So freaking suspenseful. It's almost it's along the lines of suspense like Contact is.
Okay.
To where you're like, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Contact, when they show like the Hitler footage and you're like, what the hell is going on? Like you have all this information and you just have no idea what to do with it. And it's awesome. You're just trying to figure it out. And then finally Carl Sagan pulls it all together and it's like, oh, aliens. You're like, oh, boom, awesome. But it makes sense. It's like, it's well written enough to where it's not cheap like you said about Walking Dead. It's not like, oh, aliens.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh, this makes sense. They've got our radio signals from 1948 to whenever Hitler broadcast this, and that they're broadcasting that back to us right now. Okay, makes sense. Really well written. I think scientists are some of the best authors of all time. Except, I mean, the two, Carl Sagan and Michael Crichton. Both scientists.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, I've read a lot of thesis papers that were pretty dry.
let me say nonfiction.
Yeah, not a lot of action there.
Okay. No, I mean fiction. Fiction would be good. Yeah.
Fiction, yeah.
Can we just switch those? Can we switch those
Fiction
two?
and nonfiction.
Yes.
Why would we do that?
Because, I mean, nonfiction, it just always confused me as a kid. Like nonfiction to me sounds like non-real,
Really?
nonfiction.
Oh, okay,
get
I
it.
see that.
Fiction to me, I mean, I get it now.
Yeah.
Fiction's fake or what, or is like imaginative.
Yeah.
But I always associate nonfiction with non-real. Like, okay, why not? Why couldn't we keep the non with the non?
We'll go to Merriam-Webster and be like, guys, Colton's confused. Can we switch them, please?
Okay, I have a few things. I'd like to go to the metric system.
You guys are doing good, but we got some
Yeah, just a few. Can we go to nonfiction to fiction?
suggestions.
So you're a music man.
Yes.
I was creeping your Facebook last night.
Oh, good.
And
I could feel it.
oh
I
yeah,
felt the
yeah.
presence.
Your shoulders were getting rubbed. Like, oh, Colton's looking at my Facebook.
Chills.
And it looked like you started pretty young. Looks like you started with guitar. You had your fro, and you've already mentioned that you like Macedon, which is
Yes.
a heavy metal band, and
Yes.
Coheed Cambry shirt. And
My favorite band.
Yeah.
I got a Ghost shirt on right
oh,
now.
I didn't mean that.
I know,
particular
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got a ghost shirt. And,
Yeah. Nothing like an upside down cross on your shirt to really
yeah, with a skull priest and
Yes.
and yeah.
Have you listened to Ghost
awesome.
before?
I haven't.
They're so bad.
Maybe I'll bring one up.
Oh, please do. I've seen them live 3 times.
Nice.
And
Did
they
I
are-
just type in ghost?
Yeah, I'd probably like Ghost Band or something. I don't know.
Ghost band. Ghost caught on tape is the first thing they get.
We get like Ghostbusters.
This one good? Circle?
Cerise. They won a Grammy for this.
Sorry.
No,
The text was very small.
oh yeah, no, you're good. They won a Grammy for this one. They're
Really?
super like. Their thing is they wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Sweden, and no one knows who they are.
Okay.
We know
They
who-
stole Kiss.
Yeah,
Kiss's
basically.
thing.
But I mean, we know who the singer is basically, but the other members, they had a new drummer. I didn't even realize that they had a new drummer for like
How
2
could you
years.
tell? Yeah.
Well, just his drumming, his playing style.
Oh, right.
And they made a Facebook post about it. I think
Right.
they announced it, but super spooky, super creepy. But they're like hard rock,
Yeah.
they're like classic rock, and they're super satanic.
Why does all that shit come out of Sweden and Finland?
'Cause
All that dark stuff?
Yeah, it's just great.
Why?
Swedish death metal and black
Yeah.
metal, and
Him, that sort of like death love type. Look, this girl's scary as hell.
she's spooky.
We're watching the official trailer for what was it? Ghost Circuit?
Cerise
God
or Gierke or something like that.
Cerise.
But this is they won a Grammy for this song.
Mm-hmm.
The video is Carrie inspired.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, there's some
It's got
Stephen
it's got
King.
the grain film
Yeah.
and it's cut just like a 1960s or some 1970s type movie.
They've got I'll let you borrow this album sometime. This is Melior is a flawless album.
Nice.
Very spooky, very classic rock. This is about as heavy as they get.
Yeah. So, but what is the deal with the darkness from Sweden and Finland? Do you have any?
I've never been, but I like it.
Yeah, but no, like opinion of like why the hell all this stuff comes out of there.
I feel like they've got a pretty good vibe going on, Sweden. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty nice place to hang
Yeah,
out.
but this is the kind of like a lot of this satanic type vampire-y gothy stuff comes out of that area.
They're just way cooler than we are.
I guess so, man. I never understood it.
Oh, so here we've got it's like they're dressed up like the band members, but these are all like kids. They're it's like a talent show kind of thing.
Right. And you have like this Carrie little girl type figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good shit.
I could just sit here and listen to this all day. And I remember seeing them. They opened for Avenged Sevenfold.
Whoa.
2012. They were like, I've like watched them kind of grow up a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, I remember seeing them opening and no one knew who they were and whatever. And then they just won a Grammy last year. Which
Nice.
no one gives a shit about metal at the
No.
Grammys.
Oh, right.
If it's not like electronically produced or country, no one cares about it.
Right.
In the mainstream.
Well, fuck Grammys, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, it's pointless, but it's still cool. They got a little nod, you know.
Right,
Just
right.
a popularity contest. But
The internet's changing all that, Oscars,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of shed light onto how political it all is, and it's
Yeah.
not really how good you've made something. It's kind of, how much money did you do advertising, and who do you know that's in the Academy and whatnot,
Absolutely.
which I'm not dogging Oscars or Grammys or Emmys or whatnot, because, a lot of great content has been given awards that were well-deserved, but
Oh, sure.
at the same time, it's not everything,
I always think of it, it's more like a popularity contest,
Right.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, there's certain types of, like in the case of the Grammys, there's certain type of music has wide appeal,
Right.
like pop music. Pop music nowadays is so like scientific and so
Right.
like broken down. Like it's a whole machine of how they make it, and that's fine.
Down to the beats per second and,
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
The time of year that the song's going to be released affects the key and stuff.
Seriously?
Oh, dead serious, yeah.
Wow.
I read an interview with a metal guy who went and produced some music with some like generic pop, radio
Right,
guys, and he
right.
was just astounded at how robotic it all was.
Oh, right.
I mean, I'm not dogging him. I mean, it's still,
A lot of it is, I guess.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's still emotion and all that. That's kind of the music I've been getting into is the more electronic produced on my computer, and it's fun to make. I enjoy it.
Right.
But
You're
it's
good at it.
Oh, thank you. But it's a much different emotional experience. For me, music is like it's just a pure or art in general. It's just pure emotion. It's just the human experience being visually or expressed, in audio or something you can touch. Maybe I don't know. But for me, like writing music with my guitar, which I'm like people ask me like about music. I consider myself a musician, but I'm a guitarist.
Okay.
Definitely. I play a little
Right.
piano and I like to sing, but I'm a guitarist for sure.
Right.
And so writing music on that avenue is much different than, typing out a beat on my keyboard and then using my mouse to adjust it. And some of the stuff I showed you, like the gay pics I sent the other day.
You did it on purpose.
I did do that on purpose, just so I could say that on the podcast. I sent Colton a little song demo that I'd been working on the night before, and I labeled it "Gay Pics."
So when I downloaded it, I downloaded gay pics.
Yes, for when the FBI busts in.
NSA. What is this?
Jeez,
Gay pics.
Oh, we thought you were a terrorist. Never mind. It's just gay.
Oh my
It's fine.
gosh.
I had a friend, no names, who I sent her like an old test or something at Pitt, and I titled it like "Dick Pics" or something, and I got like a text message from her boyfriend.
Oh my god.
Like 2 days later, he's
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing?" It's like, just open the
Right,
file,
right.
just look
Yeah,
at it.
right.
It's just like an old organic test.
He's like, I don't want to.
Right. Yeah. But well, yeah, I don't know. I've been really getting into the production, the music production, the electronic guy, and I'm still like, I don't consider myself a music producer or anything. I'm still trying to figure out the software and stuff. But it's like it's quick, it's fun, it's easy. I kind of realized just like the path that I'm on right now, I'm not ever really, I don't think ever going to be in like a band.
Right.
Like, I mean, for fun, sure, but I don't see myself like, traveling around with a little band, playing little shows around the area, just because I don't have the time for it.
Sure.
And I don't really know a whole lot of musicians close to me. So I kind of leapt onto the making music with my laptop kind of thing. And it's easy, it's fun. I can literally do it with my mouse.
Right.
The song I want to take into the studio in October, Toucan, I wrote a lot of that on the plane to Alaska.
Right.
I mean, just clicking in notes and stuff, and it still has like an emotional aspect for me. It's different. It's a little,
Right.
I don't want to say less serious. The music I think is a little bit less right now. Anyway, what I'm working on right now is a little less emotionally expressive as compared to like Burner or anything I've written on my guitar.
Yeah.
But it allows me to focus on the lyrics and stuff a lot more.
And you're just getting started out, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
development of like wobbles and basses and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. That's a totally different thing. So in the same sense as like a painter starts out with a new type of media, like an acrylic paint or something, and they've
Yeah.
always used oil, it's going to take a little bit to kind of understand how things flow and operate and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that way, once you start to figure out, how to drop the beat and this and that, you'll
how to drop the beats.
how to drop it like it's hot. But once you just kind of figure out the nuances and all that, then you can really begin to put more, like you said, more emotion into it because you know how to manipulate it better.
Yeah, you have to learn how to play a guitar before you can play music.
Right.
The same thing. I have to figure out how to use Fruity Loops is a program I downloaded, and I spent the first 6 hours working my way through the program.
Right.
Figuring out how to record, how to insert MIDI notes, reading through the tutorials.
Right.
And there's still all kinds of stuff that I need to learn. People go to school for 4 or 5 years studying audio production.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's the same for you with video production.
Yep.
Because, I mean, you're not in school to do that, but it's what you love.
Right,
So
right.
I imagine you spend a lot of time online, like learning, watching videos,
absolutely.
teaching yourself.
Almost all my YouTube channels are tutorials on
Yeah.
After Effects and Premiere, how to do this and that.
Okay.
And they're always, now they're in the CC or the creative collection I just totally lost it, but it's downloaded base. So now you don't own the software. Like you would purchase the software in the past. You'd pay $600 and then you'd get Premiere Pro, CS6, and then you have everything on there. But now the internet's so good and speeds are so well and everything and all that, you can you download a subscription Creative Cloud, that's what it's called. So it's like a cloud-based subscription. So now the amount of updates that come in for that kind of stuff is unbelievable. So they actually have like, I don't know, every quarter or every few months, they like release a video and they say, this is everything we've changed. This is what we've added. And it's substantial. You're almost getting a brand new program like every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
So
And you just pay that like initial fee and then you keep getting
it's like a
updates and
subscription.
stuff.
Yeah. So depending on which one you
so-
want, you pay like, we pay $40.
Okay.
But we get everything because we're students. I say we because Kelsey uses Illustrator and InDesign and whatnot. So
Okay.
yeah, Adobe's great. Adobe has really taken over the whole market.
Okay.
They have one called Audition and Sound Booth, I think, but they're not as popular as GarageBand or like Fruity Loops and whatnot. I mean, there's tons of video editing programs, DaVinci, Premiere, Final Cut. There's a lot, but Adobe is the one that created all these softwares to work together.
Is that what you use?
I use Adobe, yeah.
Okay.
Because you can go to After Effects and you can do your CGI type things and then transfer it directly to Sound Booth and you can alter your audio for your video. They all integrate into one.
Is that all Mac stuff, I imagine?
No. That's
Or no, Adobe's not, yeah.
yeah, Adobe's everything.
I'm thinking of like what you're using GarageBand right now?
Yeah, we're using GarageBand.
Like with GarageBand, which is more, it's primarily like music and sound and
Yeah,
podcasts. You
right.
can transfer directly, as far as I know, into like Logic.
Yes.
And all the different like Mac applications.
Right.
Whereas like the stuff I've got, I kind of want to get into Logic. I think that's where I want to end up.
That'd
as
be
of
cool.
Right now, I want
Right.
to buy a dedicated. I've got my little laptop right here in front of me, and it's a Lenovo, but I use it for school.
Sure.
Games, just internet and the music production. It eats up your CPU like crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I see, like, I start adding on so many synthesizer layers, and it starts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I want a dedicated laptop, and I'd like to get a Mac because, like, just looking at GarageBand, and we were digging through the effects and stuff earlier. It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so user friendly.
And there's tons of extras too. There's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Super in depth.
Oh yeah, this is what you get started with. But then there's third party people that have designed. Oh, these are all the plugins that you can have for Mac that I've designed. And they're usually free. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's a great thing. Plugins are amazing.
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now is all these new little sounds and
Yeah.
wobbles and stuff.
Yeah.
I think because you start with I have the like the mid-level pack for Fruity Loops, so it's got a lot of stuff in it. But I downloaded I don't know, some like trap hip hop little booth, and it's got all these kicks and snares and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like it doesn't have any like direct synthesizers or like instruments, but it has all these samples of like people talking. It's got like these it's kind of spooky, so it's got like some evil laughs and some screams and stuff.
Right.
And I love like sprinkling that throughout the music. It just adds a little little flavor, a little
Right.
texture to it.
A little bit of hill.
Yeah, a little hill action. And but you can download entire instruments, and a lot of it's free. Yeah,
And they can continually get better. I remember some of the first GarageBand instruments that I heard. You're just like, of course, this is totally digitized.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's coming from a computer, but with each update, it's one step closer to having the real thing. That's a violin right there. That's a freaking violin, and playing this certain note, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So that's just with the development of technology. It's the same with cameras. How film was the standard, like actual film.
yeah.
And then digital came out, and everybody that used film was like, "Well, that's bullshit. It looks terrible."
Back
Can't,
then,
back then. But you can't say that with the Red Weapon. You can't say that with the Dragon that's shooting 6 and 8K.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
That sounds crazy.
so 4K, right? We all know that's pretty standard consumer type terminology. That's 4 times the resolution of a 1080. So if you have a 1080 screen at 50 inches, times that by 4, then that's kind of the resolution of a 4K. Now squeeze that down into a 1080 screen or a 50-inch screen. Same with 6 and 8K. It's just that much more information that the camera can pick up that we can manipulate as editors or sound designers or all that kind of thing. So, but back in the day, the resolution could not surpass film.
Yeah.
When it was like 1080p, 720 and whatnot. We watch videos on YouTube all the time like that. But now with these new Red cameras and the Alexa, they've surpassed the resolution of film.
Oh,
Yeah. And it's the same with CGI, older CGI.
it's rough.
Right? Unless it's like a Jurassic Park, which is timeless. But, they had animatronics and they did it right.
Yeah.
But anymore, we're getting so close to getting past that uncanny valley and it's dangerous, but we're almost there to where it's indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Like the one I'm thinking of is Jungle Book, Jon Favreau's Jungle Book.
I didn't watch. I snuck into that for like 10 minutes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You didn't like it?
Oh no, I was just really tired and wanted to go.
Oh, right,
It was
yeah.
got done watching. So I go and watch movies by myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm a failure at life, and it's
No,
what I do.
I do the same thing. I prefer to watch them by myself.
I really do too. Yeah, no. And I was just walking out, and I was like, oh, let's check this out for a second.
Yeah.
It looked all right. I mean, you know.
But I mean, the example of the CGI and that is kind of like the fourth. I think I don't know why I want to call it the fourth generation, but that's what I want to call it. No. But it's like the new generation of CGI. The computers are stronger, the techniques are better, the cameras are better. You know, as all that develops, so will CGI, so will the graphics of all that sort of thing. So
how does that does that ever become an issue with our eyes though?
I don't know.
Because I hear about that, like people say, well, your eyes can't even tell the difference between so and so and blah blah blah.
Oh, right. You know, you're like TV resolutions, right? Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I don't think it's detrimental, and I don't think. I mean, part of it's a marketing ploy. You know, OLED, organic LEDs, and you know,
Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
All
yeah.
natural.
All natural organic
Grown on the farm.
LEDs. You know, I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but. And now I just saw the other one the other day, quantum LED or something like that. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. Maybe it's not.
Sounds good.
I don't. It does. And you want a quantum LED TV, don't you?
Just to tell my neighbors.
Curved.
Oh, is that one of those like
I don't know. Probably
curved?
But most of that is kind of just inflation, just to get you to purchase the new TV.
sure,
you know, which is fine. It's part of living in a capitalist society.
Everybody in America wants to be bigger, better, faster,
But
stronger.
yeah, well, that's why we're the biggest badasses in the world.
Goddamn right.
America. No, but I think a lot of that is just to fund other things. You know, Samsung's like, we can make a TV that we can call quantum LED. It's 80 inches, and it literally cost us $500 to put together in Korea, right? But we're going to sell it for $3,500. You know, and then they use that extra cash to fund other things that are like, okay, let's work on some spacesuits for our Korea program. That's what I think is what's going on with things like that. Because can the human eye, distinguish between 1080p and 4K? You're damn right it can. If I put two TVs in front of you, you're going to like that 4K a lot better. Yeah. But what I think it's going to do is change the way that we view the world through a TV.
Okay.
We're going to go so far to where you're not watching a black box that's an inch thick that we stick up on our wall is not how we view entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be virtual reality where we strap on goggles.
I've only had one experience with the Oculus Rift, but it was very intense and eye-opening.
Absolutely. The implications that could come from that, you know. Yeah. The only thing is, I don't think it'll replace watching TV because it takes so much energy.
For sure.
And one of the good things about watching TV is it's very passive. You can be super tired, but still enjoy Game of Thrones, like an hour-long Game of Thrones. And you don't want to be cocking your head everywhere. Yeah. Walker!
Scared as hell the whole time.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You kind of want to, you want to, it's almost like a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Tell me a story. Here's the Game of Thrones.
Turn your brain off, just see what happens.
That's right. So it's going to have its own genre, but as we continue to go farther, you know, the technological advancements that we come up with are going to question the way that we use things. Why we drive cars, you know? Well, we drive cars for transportation to get places.
We don't have to drive anymore. Then what?
Exactly. So, for instance, an example of that would be, well, I have to drive my car to college. No, college is all online. Okay, so I don't need to drive my car anymore. So why are we investing in making cars if we all work at home? Yeah. You know, that kind of thing.
I don't think that'd be good. I don't think that'd be a good scenario if we're all stuck inside all the time. But
No. I mean, yeah.
But the idea, I know.
Yeah, you got to figure out things like that. But what if we start teleporting, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, why are we working on cars? We have to break down the questions as far as we possibly can go to why are we doing this? Why are we developing cars that can climb a mountain or something, you know? Well, maybe we're doing that because we need to make a vehicle that can drive on Martian landscape. Yeah. And we're going to fund it with the public buying Toyotas. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, that's the sort of mindset that we all need to shift to. What
like
sort
working
of
towards the future, kind
That's
of.
right. Yeah. What sort of not the future of I need to make a lot of money. It's a capitalist society. I want to make sure my family's well off. You want to make a ton of money. Yeah. That's a byproduct of possibility. But how can we advance the human race in a way that, hey, it's a badass looking truck out there, but it gets 55 miles to the nitrogen gallon or something, you know? I don't know. I don't want to call it evolution, but that's kind of what it is. How do we evolve our thinking to help the whole human race advance and, thrive in our time now?
I think we're headed that way.
I agree.
I think it's a little too late, but I think we're starting to figure out that we need to help each other and help the planet.
Too late in the sense of like climate change.
Yeah, and I mean, just I don't know. Yeah, there's just a lot going on that doesn't have to be going on, and I mean, it kind of is. But I don't know, and like social things too, like rights for various groups and minorities and stuff. That,
Right.
I don't know. It's weird for me that like gay people weren't allowed to marry until like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
or not. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah,
Like,
they don't get
widely.
they don't get all the benefits and everything.
Yeah,
and they're
that's
not recognized as.
It's like, just two people. I don't know. And for me, it's like, I don't know. It's just weird for me. I think that's part of our generation. I think we're very open to like, people
Acceptance.
Yeah, it's just like everybody's different. Do what you got to do.
Right.
And then you go back even farther, like the '60s, like when we're getting like civil rights and stuff.
Right.
Less than 100 years ago.
Less than 100 years.
Yeah, less than 100 years ago, women couldn't vote.
Right.
Things like that. It's all changing very quickly.
Really quickly. We just grew up with it, like
Exactly.
Women have always voted,
Women are people too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Right. Everyone can own land, no matter you're black, you're white, you're yellow, whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, less than 100 years ago,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of changes, and now even today there's even more changes. Like you said, there's so much going on. You have the Black Lives Matter movement, all that kind of stuff going on, which is very similar to the AIM, the American Indian movement. There's a lot of patterns within these minorities, and so it's almost like they're all saying the same thing but differently in a way. And so, I mean, you get enough of those, you get enough change in the herd's going to change direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening right now. It's just
Like a social evolution.
absolutely, yeah.
I think that's important.
Social evolution via behavior of the ones around you, where you have your riots, you're like, we're demanding that you listen to us, that this is ridiculous. But you also have the passage of knowledge via the internet. I would have never known.
Globalization, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, right. Global, you have access to almost every society on Earth, and they have access to yours. You know, and then personally, I can. Like I said, I went to your Facebook page last night, and I could get, how much information can I get from that?
Yeah.
And to learn about you and go, oh, look how much he's grown up, cut his hair, and he used to play guitar. Oh, look, he still plays guitar. Oh, he had a son, like all that information. That's accessible to everyone on the planet.
Yeah.
No one that has access to the internet.
Well, yeah.
But-
But that's a good chunk of the world.
Good chunk in the world, yeah. It's
Growing every day.
growing every day. Did you see that Google plane that runs on solar and projects internet down?
What?
Yeah, dude. And it's flowing really, really well.
Projects internet downwards.
Google
plane
plane
crash.
Oops, not Google Earth Plane Simulator, but that's cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. Google Earth Plane Simulator, flight simulator.
Nice.
Google, I'm just going to internet plane. But it's a solar plane. It weighs very little. Oh, no, that's the balloon. They first started out with balloons, so they had like hot air balloons that project down Wi-Fi signals. But
Do they like move or I have
there
to
it
move
is,
around.
right there. Or maybe it's Facebook that designed it. I thought it was Google.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a super thin plane.
The world's largest social platform. It's not
Show me the plane, show me the plane.
Facebook relevant though. It's how it's evolved, how it impacts industries, designs products, and curates culture like no other network. But this all sounded like a joke.
I didn't know Complex had a technology page. I thought they were just...
Project Loon. Is that what please tell me. Skybender, that's it right there.
Do you remember that game Balloons? Bloons with the monkeys?
No.
Balloons.
No.
Oh, it was like the best tower defense ever. That's what that reminded me of.
Balloons?
Not boat, like Bloons.
Like a phone game?
It was a computer game.
Okay.
It was on like addictinggames.com.
Oh, candy stand.
Throwback.
Here it is. It's called Google Project Skybender. And it provides internet 40 times faster than LTE to remote areas. So that's 5G basically. Flies at a very high altitude, but projects Wi-Fi internet access down. So say you're in the middle of the Sahara Desert and you're trying to grow some GMOs in sand, and you want to make the Sahara into the rainforest, and you need access to broadcast your data. Skybender would be something very helpful because you're not carrying around a bunch of modems and wires and everything. It's just all from 40,000 feet up, straight down. You never see it. Yeah. And it's the same, like if you had a regime change, say a Syrian regime change, and then the government says no more access to internet, and they shut it all down. Well, hey, we'll just send over some Skybender planes, and everyone will have internet.
Check your Facebook again.
Yeah, check your Facebook.
If that's what you're worried about in the middle of the rebellion.
Seriously. Doing good.
Still alive.
Which is interesting because Facebook does have that application for disaster areas.
Really?
Yeah, so like say Kansas was hit by an earthquake, Facebook uploads a thing to where you can check in and say, I'm okay, so that all your friends know. So
Yeah.
here it is. See, it's totally run on solar panels. Very, very thin. And Siri's brother, Steven, is narrating this video.
Of course.
There it is. There's a video out there. I think it's on I Fucking Love Science, the
Great
blog.
website.
Oh, amazing website. Which has like a full 20-minute video of it taking off and the interviews with the people that designed it, and it's like the second and third flight, and it was very successful. And I don't know, it's amazing a feature of a technological advancement, especially with Wi-Fi to remote areas.
I feel like you'd have to I guess it's solar powered, so it wouldn't really matter, but you just have to circle around.
Indefinitely flies.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, just imagine we were talking about traveling. If you altered the degrees, the tilt just a little bit, you could just make it fly. If you had a gimbal and you programmed it to fly, I mean, Google has Google Earth and Google Maps.
Google is Google. They
Google
can do what
is
they want.
Google. Yes. So they could just upload a flight path, and if it just circled an area. I don't know how big the area is. If it's in a whole country, or I don't know. I doubt it.
I mean, if you're just
Probably
getting Wi-Fi,
miles.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good shit. A lot of good stuff like that is happening. So yeah, might be a little bit too late for some things, but there are technological advancements and discoveries down the road in the future that we can't anticipate.
Yeah.
That would change the game completely. Yeah. So
I like to think that we're on the way up. I mean, I know it's we live in America, so everything's fine.
I knew you weren't nihilistic.
Nah, everything. I'm so happy. But I mean, I like to think. I think that might just be the first world cloud encircling us.
Right.
I think it's. I mean, obviously we're aware of that cloud. Because my biggest worry is I have to be at work in an hour.
Right.
I gotta go pick up my kid, and I gotta go back to school.
Right.
Whereas other people on the planet are I'm kind of hungry and I might die today.
Yeah.
Or there's bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know my viewpoint's very skewed, but socially at least, I don't know about the war or the economy or the environment, but socially, and I like to think with the environment, I like to think that we're on the right path.
I agree.
I think enough people are concerned and interested, smarter people than you or I, with what's going on.
None exist.
Masters.
Yeah, there two things. One, there are more and more first world countries. I'm thinking of South Korea. They're kicking ass. New Zealand kicking ass. A lot of places in Europe are right up there. Rio de Janeiro. You look Dubai. I mean, you look at pictures and videos of those cities. They look like Western American cities.
Yeah.
Huge skyscrapers and whatnot. So I mean, more and more of the world is becoming, technologically advanced and educated and enlightened in a lot of ways. Secondly, there are more people studying the right things. There are more people going into engineering, and specifically of certain types of things like petroleum engineering or quantum engineering. There's just such specialty today, and you don't get that unless you have the base layer of everything else. So we have the people that came before us who discovered the atom, the people that came before us and discovered quantum states and things like that. So they've given us a base to specialize in, and there's enough of us too.
Yeah. Well, you can't,
7 billion.
Yeah. You can't build a tower without a solid foundation.
That's right.
It's all about building blocks.
Right.
My dad used to say that all the time.
Very wise.
If you don't pay attention in your classes, you won't understand in the next class.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dad, I get it.
Simple, yet extremely, extremely true.
Yeah.
If you get, especially in a bio, if you get behind, good
shit.
fucking luck, man.
Yeah.
You almost pull out and just start over.
You missed that one. Yeah, you missed that one class, and you're like, well, I guess being an accounting major wouldn't be too bad.
No, you kick that idea out of your head right now. You don't give up.
Right.
I had a couple of people in my microbiology summer class drop out, and it was just like my lab partner. I don't think he ever thought about dropping out, but there were a couple of times we joked about it, and it was almost like that Batman and Robin meme where he's like exactly where he slaps him. It's like you're not going anywhere. Like I've seen and you've seen pre-meds and bio majors just drop out like flies.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Natural selection.
things happen. Well, yeah, things happen. Though life comes.
Sure.
I have one friend who he's taking a semester off because he's having a kid.
Okay.
He's a super smart guy,
Right.
But he just needs time to reassess his life and take care of some business,
Sure.
And I'm very optimistic that he'll come back and take care of everything. He's almost done with school.
Right. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of rare, but I have had a few friends who they'd take breaks, or they'd make big changes.
Yeah.
And they'd come back just fine.
Right.
Not everybody does, but
I think part of it is just like stress relief. Like bio major is very hard. Pre-med's probably the hardest. And so when you see people like drop out like that, you're kind of like,
lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Very envious.
Bastard, yeah.
I don't know. Somehow like stress relief as far as like laughing at the dead in a way, I'm joking at the dead.
I have this friend, I remember we were driving past the cemetery in Pitt, and he goes, Alex, you know why I like driving past cemeteries? And I was like, why? He's like, 'cause I like to look at them and think that I've won. It's like, I beat all of you.
Well, it's kind of.
I guess.
I don't think that.
I think these people were dead like 40 years ago.
Yeah, right. I would think maybe you should think that you're going to be there someday.
Yeah.
So, like, no doubt you're going there.
You ever watch Louis C.K.?
Sometimes.
Yeah, he had that stand-up skit about, he's like, most people aren't in this room right now. Most people are dead. You ever think about that? Most people they're just dead.
Yeah.
They've been dead for a while. That's what they're going to keep on doing.
Right. They just gone.
He's probably my second favorite comedian, I think.
First?
Dave Chappelle.
Ah.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Classic.
Yeah, the one thing that psychedelics has shown me, especially acid, was like death. Like it took me to death's doorstep.
Yeah.
Like I knew I wasn't going to die at that moment, but it was like, hey, someday I got to bring it back.
It happens.
For real.
Yeah.
And it was, man, that is a crazy feeling to kind of acknowledge that and kind of realize that is the end destiny for all of us.
Unless we in?
Well, yeah. I mean, into this
mark?
reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Spooky.
Yeah. What do you think about that, philosopher man? What's after death?
I don't know.
It's an honest answer.
Be a great adventure. Isn't that what Peter Pan said?
About death?
Yeah, he's like,
Really?
I don't know what happens when we die, but it'll be a great adventure.
I think that's probably the best attitude to have about death.
Yeah.
Enjoy this ride, and then when the next ride starts,
Yeah.
I don't know, get ready.
I don't know. Do you feel like the psychedelics like opened like kind of helped you figure out not necessarily what it is, but how you felt about it?
About death?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I fear dying.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. But that was almost like a demo of death.
Yeah.
Like, here's the demo, and
I know you took a super intense trip you told me about one time.
yeah, that was the mushroom trip.
Yeah,
that was
different.
and I did die on that. I spiritually died on that one. That was insane. Yeah, I laid in bed and I just closed my eyes and I went to the void, I guess you would call it. To where if you look at my notes, I put I was everything and I was nothing. Yeah. There was nothing that existed and everything existed, and nothing could save me. I always have like these little like tap out buttons. Like if things get too bad, I'm like, well, I can just like, one is my wife. I can just think about Kelsey. I'm like, okay, well, it's awesome being married to her.
And she was there, wasn't she?
She was, well, at least she left. I was by myself.
Oh shit.
That's the only way to know a psychedelics. Do it by yourself.
Yeah.
But so I had to like think about her and just like the amazing, feelings and experiences that we have shared and the things that we anticipate doing and just love in general. That is very, or you kind of go back to your upbringing of religion. So, I tap into like, okay, like Jesus, please help me. And at that point in the void, there was nothing. No, it was
no
I
tap
was,
out.
I was in the deep dark abyss of everything.
Was it just like a blankness, or was it? I've never hit that point.
Hyperspace.
Hyperspace.
Think more of hyperspace, like to where it's
like Star Trek.
It's like everything is flying around you and moving past you, but there's nothing. It's like a void at the same time, and you're not there, but you're there. It's like the most quantum place you can ever be. But from that, after you kind of get a grasp of what's going on, then it was a force of, all right, you have to walk out of here by yourself. Like there's no one else.
Yeah.
You have to walk out. So spiritually, you're going up this mountain, and there was like this passage of when I finally reached the zenith of this place. It was like every Colton ever was fused into one. So from before birth and all the traumatic things that I had, that we all have growing up, childhood, and these experiences that shaped me, and the brokenness here, or a place of development that I didn't quite get all the way developed, or, et cetera, all the way up till this moment. It was just like as one. And I was the most Colton I've ever been, The boy Colton was healed and complete, but the man Colton was forming and blossoming and becoming. And it was amazing.
How long ago was that?
Last October.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like 2 months before I met you. Okay.
Yeah. About 2 months before you met me.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then, psychedelics like enhance things that have happened previously to you. And right before all that happened was, the move home from California and just the huge life shift, to where I thought, I'm going to live out in California. I'm going to do this video thing, and that's what I'm going to work hard and just get in that industry. And then that was all just blown up from me, and I'm in this place of confusion and where am I going to go? And so I'm like, well, a lot of my heroes and a lot of historical figures talk about psychedelics, and a lot of the Indian tribes, Native Americans or Native South Americans that I research or look up to, they have used these plants for direction and whatnot. So
Steve Jobs,
and Timothy Leary, Terrence McKenna, all those guys. So I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And, I like to think that I responsibly use those sorts of things, allegedly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people who use said psychedelics, allegedly. And I think you're very different. You and all the people in this little circle that I've kind of come into contact with recently look at it very differently from friends. And I mean, those friends, they do different drugs too. Shrooms and like LSD, all these hallucinogens. They're not party drugs.
Yeah,
it's not like I mean they could be for some people.
I wouldn't want to do.
No, I wouldn't want to go to like a concert or anything tripped out.
If a rave, I might be into.
Yeah. Okay.
If I could see the bass, like
yeah. Well, I'm talking about like
I got you.
Like I have friends who
you listen to satanic music, so there's no way I'm dropping acid at Satan's
still
concert.
Got this upside down cross on my chest.
I couldn't do that.
But like I went to a party once and like because the girl invited me, she's like, let's go. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was just like I was ready to go have a good time. But I get there and they're like doing coke and Molly and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a rap video. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like The Weeknd for a minute.
Yeah.
And I didn't take part in any of that, but it was a very different vibe versus like being around people who are like tripping on like shrooms or something.
Right.
And it's more like, because I feel like with the other drugs, it's more like just like here's a drug and here's this experience and it feels funny and it makes you laugh, haha. Whereas with the shrooms and stuff, like I personally felt like I just like learned things like about myself. It was like weird and wobbly, like but then like it just changed. It didn't change me, but it made me see myself kind of objectively in things that I needed to change about me.
Right.
I feel like
I agree that that all goes into what they always say, set and setting.
Oh yeah,
with psychedelics and any drug, like the set and setting of that party that you were at, the intensiveness of everyone that was there was probably not to look into themselves existentially and question, why am I here?
It was fun. I mean, they were nice people.
Fun.
They were all having a good time. I mean, listening to music.
There's a time for everything.
That's when I wrote Burner.
I was going to mention that, but I didn't know if it was the same party.
Yeah, I was just sitting on the couch writing music.
Great song.
And in the back of a guy's car. Thank you.
I love that song.
Thank you.
We're going to make a music video.
Yes, we're working on that.
But set and setting, and then your purpose. Why are you doing these things? Are you running from something? And I think the good thing about psychedelics, or maybe the good thing, the powerful thing about psychedelics is that if you are running, it will show you that.
It will tell you that.
It will show you. Yeah. If you're trying to hide something, it doesn't let you hide things. Specifically, marijuana, acid, and shrooms. And I've never done like ayahuasca or DMT or something like that, but they just have this pattern of showing you what you don't want to see.
Yeah.
They take you to the battle that you need to be battling. And if you are battling the battle you need to be battling, say that 12 times fast.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Then they give you little hints and tips and things of say like, you're doing good here, but check out here. Or I know sometimes it's just, hey, isn't it good to be alive? I don't know. It's almost like talking to like an old wise man that sits on top of a hill. And sometimes he drops knowledge on you that's like, wow, I need to go take a 12-month walk through the forest to digest that. And sometimes he's just like, hey, let's laugh.
Yeah.
We're alive. Let's laugh.
Yeah.
And you're like, this doesn't teach me anything. He's like, I know.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So maybe the analogy of an old wise man on top of a hill is,
that was pretty good. That's
something towards psychedelics.
Did you steal that from somewhere?
No,
that
just
good.
came out of the subconscious depths.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I don't. I think for me, like my trip, it was. I think when I was outside, I spent a lot of time in your kitchen. I was like,
I know.
I was in there for like 2 hours.
Set and setting.
Oh yeah, it was a great set and a great setting. I think outside it was more of just like wobble, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the kitchen was when I was like thinking about like myself and like where I was going, where my life was taking me, what was important to me,
right?
What I liked about me, what I didn't like about me. And I don't know. It was just it was very eye opening.
That could have deeper connections too. Like I don't know if you've ever had any sort of experience in a kitchen and like an imprinting. Did you spend time with your mom in the kitchen while she cooked, or did you stub your toe in the kitchen. You know, I don't know, but that could be, you know, your brain subconsciously saying like, this is a safe place, or this is a charged place, this setting of a kitchen. You know,
Well, it wasn't
that's
just
what
the
Casey would
kitchen,
say.
though. Oh, yeah. It wasn't just the kitchen, though. I spent time, you've got this nice little kind of terrarium, like
A
open.
little hydroponic
For
herbs and spices. And
I was like, I
mint.
remember I was watering the plant. And I was like, I hope this is okay. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And then the bathroom, too. I ended up like just looking in the mirror and for a while. That was weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
Mirrors are cool.
Yeah, it was weird because I was kind of nervous about it,
Mm-hmm.
but like I knew there were people around, so I was like, it's fine. You know, if I freak out, I got my friends here.
Right.
But I spent most of it, I think, alone. I think
That's
I preferred.
good. Yeah.
I don't know. I think one of the other guys involved kind of got freaked out because I was in the house by myself the whole time. He was like worried about me. Like, you should come outside. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, right.
And then like 3 hours later.
Yeah, Casey always would say that to truly know a drug, you have to do it by yourself, which is really scary. And as Terrence McKenna would say, it takes courage to take psychedelics.
Wow.
And it does, dude.
Was that a sample? Did you just pull that off the computer?
That was Terrence McKenna.
Wow. Perfect.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of lectures from Terrence. But there's, like I said, the set and setting. So if you're going to dabble in it, I would say go with your friends first and someone that's done it, because especially like someone like Casey, who's one of the best, you know, guides.
That's what you told me, before.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the best. I would call him a guide of all time. You know, he can talk you out of it, calm you down. At the same time, he can go with you. So he's almost like a little shaman in
That's
that way.
exactly what you said. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So, but at some point, you know, if you're going to dabble in these things, you got to go. You have to take the walk alone, because that is kind of where certain things will be revealed that maybe couldn't be revealed to you while the others were around, because it's too heavy or too complicated or
Personal,
you get interrupted. Someone asks you a question.
Yeah.
How you feel? Like,
Oh, I hated that.
You know, yeah. So yeah, you get it. Yeah. I don't advocate for their use, but they have been beneficial to me.
Yeah,
And-
I don't party very much at all. I used to like smoke a lot of weed, and now I hate it. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't enjoy it, you know. So I don't really bother with that anymore. And I've got things to do.
Right.
You're
grown up.
Yeah, I've got a kid. I've got a job. I've got school. So it's like I don't have time to be, you know, messing around with all this nonsense. but yeah, I mean that trip it was very. I think it was important. It's a weird way to put it. It wasn't like me being irresponsible and just losing myself for a little bit. It was like reflection, you know, in a very pure form for several hours.
I think a lot of that irresponsible type of thought comes from people who have tried psychedelics that weren't needing to try them.
Okay.
You know, like, oh, I took acid when I was your age, and it was horrible. I saw dragons and they tried to eat me, and it's like you probably weren't meant to take that, you know,
Or you didn't do it right.
Set
and setting.
or that's exactly what you needed, and you didn't learn the lesson.
Yeah.
Asshole. You were the dragon, and you were hurting your family members and girlfriend and everything, and you didn't get the message.
For sure, yeah.
So a lot of that's just, you know, interpreted wrong, or just not. You weren't meant for it. You didn't need it. You were doing fine. You know, you were a business major and you were doing fine. You know, but I don't know. A lot of the times, they are beneficial.
Yeah, I think so. Well, Steve Jobs said he didn't. He doesn't think he would have created Apple if he hadn't taken his acid trip. Like, what was it, like India or something like that? And he saw like an apple, and that's where the logo came from.
Right.
On his trip. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism, and you know, for specifically for biology, specifically for psychology, and just, you know, human development and evolution. I think psychedelics have a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
From in the past and in the future.
Do you believe in like the because like when you're on the trip, it's definitely like there's this aura of like not supernatural, but there's definitely a mystical kind of side to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people buy into that as being a thing. How do you feel about people who think that like I don't really buy into it like that you're accessing this different realm of new I think it's just kind of like it changes the way you experience what's already there, but in a way that I don't know, kind of it's more of what's in your head and lets you sift through that. I don't think it's external. I think it's more internal. How do you feel about like?
I like the way you put that. I'm an interesting trained person, and when I say trained, I'm just talking about my experiences and mentors of the past. You know, when I first started out, I was like a deep devoted Christian, and that's because of, you know, my mom and dad and like my background.
Sure.
And then when I moved to California, we did the YouTube series called Bible Walkthrough, and I was exposed to two of the most smartest men I've ever been around, both deep Christian followers, and Adam specifically. I spent a lot of time with Adam Ayers, who is a PhD in sociology, and, it just, his outlook on human nature and reality and existence itself is, some of the most influential thoughts and comments on my life ever. And so my base layer is spiritual. And I always remember him saying something about how God never breaks out of the supernatural into the natural. It's all natural. There is no layer of supernatural natural. It's just all natural, like you said. And so when you take the psychedelics, there's a lot of unanswered questions of, well, what is consciousness? What is reality? What's going on? We just change a few chemicals in our brain, our little organ, and then this is what happens. Yeah. Are we accessing other realms? In a way, I can't write it off. I can't say it's not, because I only see like this much of the light spectrum. There's like this much more. So how can, there's all these other entities that have, genetic data, and we have beetles and we have squirrels and we have whales. Why can't there be fourth dimension type creatures or life or energies? I can't write those off. And the way that plants and fungus operate, humans think we're superior because we can walk around and we can, now we're changing genetic data and creatures but the way that plants and fungus and things of that sort operate and live and, develop, humans can't understand that quite yet. We don't really get it, but there's intelligence in those things. So, lately, one of the things that we're doing is converting information into genetic code because it can be stowed away for like 1 billion years or something. So why couldn't a fungus do that? Why couldn't a fungus, a species, watch a Mayan culture of humans for thousands of years, take that information in, convert it to genetic data in the form of psilocybin, and then when you eat it, it's like, let me tell you about the Mayans. They used to worship the jaguar, and you go like, I went on this crazy trip, and I saw pyramids and jungles and anacondas. Yeah, that's the memories of the mushroom, I don't know. That's, I don't know. To answer your question, maybe.
Sounds kind of Assassin's Creed where they're accessing their ancestors' memories through their codes and stuff.
There's so much of science that we don't know. We can't really say it's not there, and we can't really say it is. Morphic resonance, epigenetics, that kind of stuff. We're just kind of starting to get there with the quantum. This idea of quantum biology and quantum physics and all that is changing the way that we think about the world, and it's probably a lot more complex than we think.
It's all happening very fast.
It's happening very fast. So
last like 60 years.
Yeah, and it's even faster. I mean, think about the change between 2005, 2010. A lot of change. 2010, 2012. A lot of change. 2015 to 16. She's just like, holy crap.
Well, like the technological advancements are exponential. I know there's some equation for it. I don't remember the guy's name, but it's
Moore's law.
Was that it?
I think so.
Yeah, like if you look at 85 to 90, or even like you just said, even more recently. But we went from like tape decks to like CDs. Then we went from CDs to MP3s. Now it's all non-physical and all this. It's like crazy.
Transistors to solid states. Solid states have no moving parts. It's all magnetic. Moving particles. I don't know. It's doing it right now. Yeah. Look right there. The computer's doing it. I have no idea how it's doing it, but it's doing it.
Yeah, it's very shiny. It looks good. It's sleek. Yeah.
Thanks. That's acid right there.
That is it.
That's
right here.
Steve Jobs acid.
Thank you, Mac.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we don't know. There's a lot of specialties that will come out of discoveries and questions that we couldn't have ever thought of or dreamed of,
For sure, yeah.
So, and that only comes from, like we said, a great base of scientists and explorers and people before us, and then a curiosity to go into the future and ask the right questions and specialize in the right fields. Today's world is, I would say, based mostly on group thought and effort.
Okay.
You have to have a team. You're the biologist. This guy is the botanist. This guy is the engineer.
Well, there's too much for one person to learn.
There's way too much for one person to learn. And the projects that we're working on takes a team of experts most of the time. In the past, maybe you could be a Copernicus or I should just be slapped for forgetting this guy's name. Thomas Edison. No, is it Edison? Who got the apple dropped on his head?
Oh, that was Newton.
Newton, God.
Sir Isaac Newton.
I apologize. Yeah, back in the day, you kind of had to be a Newton or a Tesla to where you had to be like a polymath and understand a lot of things. And then you derive from all your knowledge, you derive a theory or two that's like, whoa,
Big.
that just changed everything.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have to learn everything about one thing. Yeah. You can know about a couple other things, but you kind of have to be an expert and then join a group and then take on a project.
Those just weren't regular guys, though, either.
No.
Copernicus and
Right.
Newton and Tesla. Those weren't just regular college students. Those were really smart guys.
Yeah,
And we've got people like that nowadays, too.
Sure.
But they're just not super famous yet because they haven't died.
Yeah,
You have to die to get famous.
Or there's just too many of them.
That is true.
there's 7 billion of us. Yeah. So if you have 7 billion and then you do some sort of math equation, there's probably, 100,000 Newtons, 200,000 Teslas. Yeah. So there's so many of them that they just kind of get lost. And I don't know, there's less and less celebrity nowadays. Because like you said, you can't be an expert in one thing. You can't do it by yourself. Elon Musk, badass, super smart, super strategic, all that kind of stuff. He can't do it by himself. He's just kind of the face. It kind of makes it easier for everyone to ingest like what Tesla is doing. Like, who is Tesla? Because if Elon Musk wasn't there, it's Skynet.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk makes it kind of cool. Like, oh yeah, this guy's in charge of everything. Yeah. Is he? Kind of.
He's a figurehead.
He's a figurehead.
Yeah.
But who's putting all the parts together and who's doing all the research and all that kind of stuff?
The guys
it takes
on the ground. Yeah.
That's right.
Which I'm sure he's super smart and he could do a lot of that.
Yeah,
too.
not taking anything away from Elon.
But I'm sure a lot of that has to do with like the business aspects and stuff like that.
Just the way that we operate and whatnot. Yeah.
We like to have a face to associate with things.
We do. Yeah.
Kind of like why we have like a president.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I mean, they're the branches, but it's like he's not, at fault for everything.
Right.
Or soon to possibly be he or she,
Right. This entity.
But you don't hear people complaining about like Congress. I don't know a lot about politics. I won't even pretend to. But you don't hear people complaining about like Congress or anything.
Unless you're like really into politics.
Yeah.
And you kind of get it. But
like my average Facebook user feed is why Obama is ruining the country.
Right.
Which may or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I should be. But I'm just a little waiter in Kansas. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think most of that probably comes from, deeper anger issues or unresolved issues within yourself. And you say, like, just like the autism thing and vaccination, like you need an outside enemy.
Yeah, we love us versus them.
That's
basic psychology.
Absolutely. The Homo sapiens on the ground in the Sahara savannah, that's what you had to do. There was us, and then there was the tigers and the leopards and the elephants and other tribes or people. Yeah. So it's ingrained, but we can overcome that.
Yeah. Time is all we need. Time to advance. Time to grow.
If we can hack the human genome, how come we cannot hack the universal time code?
All he needed was time.
Time is weird.
Yeah.
Time is so weird that it's a materialistic thing.
That's a whole different podcast.
I got time.
What was I reading? I was reading I've been reading The Dark Tower, and part of what I understand the story to be I'm only on book 2, is the main protagonist Roland. He's looking for this ancient giant tower that's kind of like the nexus of all universes. Oh, wow. And I guess I've read probably like 7 or 8 Stephen King books, and I guess the Dark Tower is referenced in a lot of them. I think it kind of takes. Do you ever play BioShock Infinite?
I know of it.
Okay, spoiler alert for BioShock Infinite.
Here we go.
You find like the lighthouses lead to different dimensions and stuff, and it's a multiverse idea. And I think the Dark Tower is supposed to kind of represent that.
Okay.
Because in the Dark Tower, as far as I've gotten on book 2, spoiler alert, he's it starts in this like Western sci-fi kind of magic-y weird place,
right? But
he starts dipping into our world, our actual people start crossing between the worlds and stuff, and he's like seeing things through the eyes of a person.
Okay.
Who it's like this trinity. The guy's labeled the prisoner, and he's seeing things through his eyes, and he's like helping him. Like it's a whole cool thing. But I totally forgot where I was going. Time, yeah. And I don't know. There's just all these weird issues with time in that dimension, and like time between worlds, and just time in general is just such a trippy.
It's so weird.
It's just a thing.
It's a materialistic thing that can be altered by a lot of things. It can be altered by gravity.
Yeah.
Gravity can slow or speed up time. And the speed of your traveling, speed of light.
Yeah.
The theory is if you travel with the speed of light, then you don't age at all, but everything around you ages.
And so even astronauts age differently.
Astronauts age, yeah, but
just barely.
Yeah, but it's there. There's
it's
change.
Still a thing.
So
I want that nanosecond.
I do
Damn
too.
it.
I do too. But then also the human mind. Albert Einstein's little quote on relativity is, you spend your hand on a hot burner. Oh, dude, I'm going to botch this, but this quote is amazing. It's the hot burner and beautiful girl quote on relativity.
Okay, I haven't heard that.
Let me read it real quick. Beautiful girl quote. There it is. Okay. So this is his reply to what is time, what is relativity. Any man who can... Nope, that's not it.
Well, let's read that one. Can we read?
Yeah,
I just
we
want to
can
imagine Albert Einstein saying that.
Remember, it's all his fro. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves.
He was a little horn dog, from what I understand.
Oh, aren't we all?
Yeah. But we're not super geniuses, so we get in more trouble for it.
That's right. We didn't need to do our hair like that.
Right. I think he
There it is.
had numerous affairs and
Really?
married his cousin or something like that.
I mean, what?
Wasn't it something like that?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
A lot of them
Don't quote me.
scientists are like that. Darwin,
weirdos.
Leary, they just do some strange things.
Yeah.
So it says, put the page just
Getting through the
reloaded on me.
ads. Yep.
So his reply to the relativity is, put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it seems like a minute. That's relativity. So my quote,
good.
my comment on the way that the human mind perceives time is very strange. And even with dreams, you can dream a lifetime in a night.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Time is very strange.
It is. It's because it's how much of it has to do with like our perception of it. I mean, like you don't look at deer. Don't worry. They don't check. They're not checking their watches. Cats aren't worried about whether they're going to be late or not. But they have circadian rhythms and stuff. They
Right.
have
Some sort of
an idea of time,
timing, right?
day
right.
and night. But how? I don't know. Yeah, it's all very subjective and ambiguous and weird.
Like a lot of the native cultures, like their time was a lot of it based off the moon cycles, like a natural thing.
Yeah.
I guess our time is based off a natural thing. It's based off the rotation of the earth and within the sun. But, when they would meet up, my dad would talk about this, when they would meet up back in the day, they would just say, okay, we're going to meet in the season of the red bud or whatever. Oh, when the trees start to turn, okay. And you may show up in October and I may show up in November, but it's still kind of the same season. And that kind of draws back upon GPS and how precise that our technology has given us. We can time ourselves down to like the nanosecond, right?
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was more of, spread out through months and whatnot. But it was more laid back. And
That's a cultural thing too, though. Americans,
Absolutely.
we're very precise on time, whereas like Latin countries and just different parts of the world are very relaxed.
Right.
And in like social contexts, like
Sure.
businesses and stuff, business
Right.
meetings and whatnot.
Asians are pretty,
They're pretty intense.
yeah, they're very on time.
They're
and
above us. I saw a chart of it once. I don't know.
disciplined,
Yeah, right.
super disciplined.
Yeah.
I guess some of them.
Yeah.
They're all people.
Never been. Yeah. I've never been to a foreign country. I've been to Alaska. That's about it.
As far as you've gone,
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to go to like a Middle Eastern Asian country,
Yeah.
something that's really far from Western society.
Super different.
Yeah, that'd be a trip.
I had a friend. He backpacked across. I don't remember where it was. It was like Southeast Asia, and he just got up and went. And he's my age, and he had all kinds of crazy stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
That's the way to do it.
just throw yourself out there.
Yeah, that's the way I did it, and
You went to California, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
That's a big
go.
enough change as it is.
Oh, any sort of change like that, you'll be ready for the change that you go through. There's not going to be anything that you can't overcome.
yeah.
Ace,
Hey, what's up, man?
he's made the podcast every day,
Yes.
every time.
Ace and I go way back.
Yeah,
Not
on your
really.
trip.
On my trip,
On
yeah,
your
we
trip.
bonded very deeply. And there was like over halfway through the trip where I was like, I'm just sitting here talking to a dog. Like it hit me. I'm like, he's just happy I'm here.
He's trying to tell me something.
Right. He knew what I was saying. He didn't talk back. It wasn't that bad.
Right.
But he
It's
knew
not
what I was.
those anti-drug commercials.
Right. Talking to the dog.
Susan, why are you doing weed?
Why don't you walk me anymore?
Holy shit, the dog is talking to me.
It's some good stuff, man.
Holy
Jesus.
crap. Oh my gosh, dude, we could do this all day, but I know you got things to
gotta
take
get to
care
work,
of. You
yeah.
got children to take care of and
Just one.
people. I was talking about
As
the
far as I
buffet
know.
people.
I debated whether or not I wanted to talk about my job.
Yeah.
Because we have the same. We're both waiters.
Yes.
Yours is different.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Colton works at a very fine establishment, very fancy.
Finest in all the land.
Yes. I work at a buffet. It's, pretty fine.
Across the way.
A little more casual, yeah.
Yeah.
But
maybe next podcast we go into the psychology of serving tables and the people that we serve.
That would be great.
Because there's a ton of information there.
I've learned more there than I have from the psych department at Pitt.
Seriously.
Crazy,
Awesome, dude. Thank you for coming on today.
Glad to be here.
It
Pleasure
was
to be here.
one of the best ever.
Appreciate it.
You're a cool dude. I love hearing your stories, your opinions, and everything. So
Right on. Glad to share.
I'm happy to be friends with you.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you want to shout out to any of your social media tags? Aphid, right?
No, yeah. That's where all my music goes. APHID. Did you see the picture my sister created?
Perhaps.
The one with all my faces.
I didn't know. I didn't see it.
Aphid. It's just the stage name I use to release all my music under, and it's I've got like a Facebook page with like 2 followers, so it's fine, whatever. But she put up this picture. She's real good with Photoshop and whatnot.
Nice.
And it's just a picture of like a bunch of like classic rocks, like Axl Rose and Slash.
Okay,
and, like,
yeah.
Angus
I
Young.
saw one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all these people on stage, but they're all me. They all have my faces.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like I don't even know where she got some of the photos from. I was like 12 and 2 of them.
Nice.
But yeah, check out my music.
Aphid, you're on Instagram.
As Oops, Alex died.
Oops, Alex died.
Because one day it'll be true.
That's the cynic in you.
Yeah.
The philosopher.
Hopefully we'll have some projects coming between Infinite Productions.
Absolutely. We're going to be working on some music videos or just a little bit of behind the scenes in the studio. So
That'd be cool. Yeah,
we're always trying to work together.
Yeah.
Oops, Alex died. Twitter, Facebook, look him up. Alex Hill, everybody. He's going to be releasing some tracks. And actually, in fact, the music that you're hearing now is, I don't know if it's going to be Gay Pics or the other one, but it's some of Alex's music. And I will tag some links to his SoundCloud. Do you have SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Okay,
None
tag.
of this is on SoundCloud yet.
Oh, okay.
Because you had my computer for several days. So
You left it here.
that's my fault.
But I'll link up to his Instagram, his Facebook, his SoundCloud, all that, so you can find his content, support him, donate to him, give him a shout out. Show him some love,
I
ladies and
appreciate
gentlemen.
it.
Show
I
him some
appreciate
love.
I'm very lonely. I need it.
PreMeds.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with them? Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was very fun. 2 hours and 36 minutes. So if you made it this far, you are a real fan and you're a champ. So appreciate it. Hope you had a good time. We'll be back next week, Monday and Tuesday. School starts next week, so we'll have all sorts of stories from school. If you want to come on the podcast, shoot me a tweet, shoot me an email, shoot me something. I do most of my social media on Twitter just because that has the most chances to go viral. So shoot me a tweet. I'll get you on. It'll be fun. Okay, everyone, have a great fucking week.
Adios.
We will see you next Monday. Peace.
SciFi wins.